You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast. What's up, punters and dribblers? Welcome back to the Hello Sport Podcast, home of unqualified opinion and unwavering bias. Monday, the 26th of May, 2025. Just off the back of Round Footy. Bit of housekeeping. Shout out to Liv Koenig. That podcast out last night. Big fan of Liv Koenig. Origin weapon. Eddy and I are taking some time off, but not time off, time away.
Yes.
From basically this Friday until 10th, 11th of June.
So what does that mean for the punter and the dribbler? What does that mean for the punter and the dribbler?
What does it mean for me?
What does that mean? Listen, we got a fucking interview coming out this Sunday. It's an absolute ripper.
We've got 2 interviews recording this week.
Yeah, but one's coming out this Sunday, an absolute ripper.
Yeah.
An absolute ripper.
Yeah.
He's been in the media a lot in the last 3 days.
Yes. The other one, we're getting back on our C-suite shit, talking to some C-suite operators,
We just
some
want
CEOs.
That's
and the
right.
like.
We just want to have a couple of C-suite operators in the back pocket. That's short for pocket.
Yeah.
Obviously, C-suite is where we want to play.
Well, sometimes want to play, not exclusively.
No, but like we like to sometimes play with the C-suite.
Yes, no, we do.
It's just the way we operate. So
You're
what
in
does
the
next week
Smiths
look like? What's next week look like?
It looks like Eddy in Hawaii, and it looks like Tommy Burns in Bali.
Yeah, and you'll just be getting a couple of them Zoomies.
Yeah, it's only next week as well for the Zoomies, isn't it?
No, just 1 week.
Yeah.
And the week after we're back because it's a long weekend. I'm back on Tuesday, so get over it.
Yeah, I turned 36 on the Tuesday. I think if that's the 10th. Anyway, not a huge deal. And then we're back for Origin 2. Whoops.
Woo!
Oh, horny. How's your weekend, old chum? You were away on your first new dad getaway.
I was on Chile. You are just so beautiful, and that's just a fact. Okay,
Chile.
chill. You're beautiful, and you give beautiful kisses. Yeah, beautiful hugs and beautiful kisses. I've always said that about you. Beautiful hugs and kisses. Now, Tom, I was away on my first parent trip.
New dad getaway.
New dad getaway, bro. We went down to Berry. When I'm talking generational rain on the way down there, I'm talking Noah Ark shit.
Thursday.
Yeah. It was fucking biblical.
And was everyone driving like real slow?
I had the hazards on, baby.
Yeah.
I had the hazards on. You could see fuck all.
Well, especially as a new dad. Like
Well,
you got your
dad.
precious cargo in the car.
Oh, precious cargo. Suki Sue in the back sleeping like a rugby league champion. Mate, it was biblical. Honestly, world was ending sort of stuff. But we get down there safe. Thank God. Shout out to the hazard lights. We've got a workout. And the left lane, which also got a licking. Shout out to the left.
No, yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's no need to speed.
I'm a huge left lane guy, especially with precious cargo in torrential rain.
And hazards.
And hazards, Tom, which I think are underutilised. If visibility's poor, whack the hazards on.
Yep. Where's Tonka? King of the Dogs didn't come.
No, fuck
Yeah,
it.
right. King of the Roddies.
King of the Road. No, he was in Mossman with the dumbrells with his feet up, or his paws up,
Pause. Well, their feet.
as it were. Get down to Berry, beautiful part of the world, and I get down there. It's pouring rain, fires roaring,
Oh,
Tom. That's
all
heaven.
you want,
That's
yeah.
heaven on a stick.
Yeah, it is. Rain, fire.
Not just pouring rain.
Yeah.
With a fire that was roaring.
Yeah.
Apparently, it'd been set up before they got there. They'd pre-roared it.
Oh, really?
That's a nice touch.
Wow. Well, this is like an Airbnb situation. I'm
Airbnb
assuming. They set
situation.
up, they get the thing roaring before you get there?
It was roaring before we got there, apparently. So that's incredible, first and foremost. First parents' trip, Nick and Soph with their little daughter Coco, she's cute as a button, big cheeks. And then Nick and Shah with their little daughter Marlo.
Oh, so it's 3 gals.
The girl gang.
Oh, it was a girl gang.
It's girl gang.
Oh, yeah, mad. Now,
gang.
part of the parent trip is everyone wants to have fun, but then there is like periods. What you soon learn is that like the nice thing about going away with other families is that the chaos, everyone's in chaos at a certain point. It's sort of like, oh, fuck, we've just got to go away and deal with some chaos. And the people can keep, you just keep doing your thing.
100%.
And then someone else, now was there chaos? Did the kids behave? Was there late night shit? You know what I mean? Could you get lit?
Oh, we got lit.
Yeah,
Fuck
right.
yeah.
Okay, mate.
Generally speaking, the girls were great. The girls were on their best behaviour. Suki fucking chilled the whole weekend. They were like, the other cubs were like, I don't think we heard her cry. She was floppy.
Love that.
Super flocky. She was a little bit like uppy a little bit on weirder times late in the night, like early morning stuff. But it was generally speaking, mate, down at 7, could get lit, then went to bed. Like, it was fine. The girls were good. All the girls were good. You know, bit of that action.
A bit of that.
Marlo's a younger. She's a little bit more newborny, so she was probably needed the most attention. But on the whole, Tom, the girls were great.
Lovely.
They behaved well, really well, which allowed us to let our rugby league hair down a little bit. Nothing crazy. Obviously, times have changed.
Well, you can't get too fucked up because one of you is going to have to get up at 4 a.m. for some reason. And if you're still like boozy and woozy, you're in huge trouble.
You can't do it.
Or you can, and then you're fucking hungover.
Well, you can, but then, you know, like the latest night's probably 12:30.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than being hungover with children. I've said it, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. But so it was nice.
So it was beautiful,
Back yesterday?
Back yesterday. Just a fucking nice weekend down there. Berry's a beautiful part of the world, Tom. We got some sun on Saturday. I ate decadently. I drank decadently. Nipped in through the Highlands on the way home. Again, ate decadently. Drank decadently. Just a beautiful week.
Saturday, pulling out the sun was really nice.
Well,
because it had been drizzly as fuck. And then you have a nice day of sun. It was just like, let's go and do some shit.
I didn't see that coming, to be honest.
I checked it.
I thought we were in one of the great rain benders of all time. Then Saturday shows up.
Well, we are, and we do send thoughts to people who are in floods. But there was some rain bender reprieve, at least in
the part of the world
that we were at. Yes. Yeah. Can't speak for everyone. Don't know.
Can't speak for everyone. Definitely know there's been flooding north of the state.
Yeah, and in the floody areas.
And our thoughts and our prayers are with those in the Northern Rivers area. Is that correct? Again, I've been off the map.
Yeah, we've been off the grid a little bit.
Off the grid. I've been off the grid for the last couple of days. Away on my first parents' retreat. So, get over it.
Make no apologies.
But the car was packed tight. Know that.
Oh, I bet it was. And again, new parents pack way more shit than they need.
Mate, I walked in, I was like, I remarked, Tom, this what I'm carrying is the most parent trip thing of all time. Yep. I was carrying, punters and dribblers, a sterilizer, a big bottle sterilizer that washes and dries that we all use. I'm like, this is parent shit right
Everyone does. This is a bottle sterilizer for the whole trip.
Well, because Suki's now formula fed. There's been some issues. Not going to get into it. Don't care.
Get into it.
But I don't care.
No, of course.
About telling you. Mike.
No. But I mean,
you know.
I know.
So that's all that matters. But all I'm saying is this bottle sterilizer gets a rugby league workout, so we've got a thoroughbred.
Yeah, right.
So we could share it around.
Oh, okay. This thing can do multiple.
But when I walk in to a Berry retreat holding a bottle sterilizer, that's a parent fucking.
Yeah.
That's a parent bring.
That's a change in circumstances that you don't necessarily foresee. You foresee some things when you become a parent. You don't think that you're now lugging around the fucking Rolls Royce of bottle sterilizers.
but I was. And here we are. Like Nick and Shah, they bought a fucking bouncy ball because sometimes they need to bounce on that ball to, you know, to get it to chill out. Like that's the sort of shit we're bringing.
Yeah.
Giant balls. Yeah, Suki's still rocking a basket. She's just in this basket thing.
Oh, yeah. They're all fucking small as shit. You can put them in a shoebox, really, couldn't you?
But she's getting too long for that thing, dude. So she's going to be out of that basket soon, and it's going to break my heart. It's going to shatter my heart into a million pieces. Because what do I do then with this Moses basket? It's just going to sit around reminding me of the fact that she's now way bigger than I thought was possible.
You sell it.
You could sell it. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to get rid of it
until unless you're getting pregnant again right now. Like you're just gonna have a Moses basket hanging around. I just don't know that that's worth it. Again, I don't want to tell you what to do. Right, the last thing you want is a guy, a fucking 3-time deal for the year to be you know. You got to learn these things yourself.
You got to. I think it'll probably get sold. Ella's not big on clutter, and that'll go down as emotional clutter.
Yeah, it is emotional clutter. I went on Saturday, Edward, glorious sunshine. First to the Bondi Markets with my 3 children and Hamish Street and his children and wife. Heard of him? Heard of them? Heard of the Streets?
Heard of the Streets. I was with the Streets last weekend.
Exactly. We ran around in the sun, had a great time. I then get wind, whispers on the wind, that the Scots College First 15 are playing Shaw.
Saw that you nipped down to the College of Knowledge.
Fresh Newcastle, built $68 million.
Cheap.
Well, and needed to happen. Needed to happen. You know what I mean? You looked at that old library and you went, that's an eyesore. We need a $68 million Harry Potter castle.
Mate.
Am I out of touch?
Tom, it called for it.
Am I out of touch?
It called for it. The old library was a fucking eyesore. It was a 70s brutalist piece of shit. Needed to go. Needed to sub the Harry Potter castle in
I needed a castle, dude.
Mate, I'm surprised they were still getting enrollments with that old
I know.
library.
It was a disgrace. But good to see that they've done something about it and they fixed it up.
That's by the year.
Yeah, I know. Only 10, 15 mil over budget, I'm hearing.
Well, you build that in, don't you?
You have to factor that in.
If we're not running 30, 40% over.
Yeah.
I know that's not the right
No, but I know what you're saying, mate. So I get down there with my old mate Luke Bracey, who is about to take off for another job.
Was there a lot of first 15 chat?
A lot. There was heaps. There was millions and millions and millions of references to first 15 days.
Did he start to drop in the New South Wales stuff as well?
He came up.
Yeah. New South Wales ones?
Well, yeah, NSW ones, Jeeps ones, NSW ones.
Not a bad, it's a big deal.
Fucking huge deal. Yeah. And
did your 4A in seconds come up?
Listen, mate, you got to acknowledge it. Well, I mean, we're not even 4A. I was in seconds in year 11. I obviously made the grade in year 12. We kept going. Because we got there and watching the seconds. We were like, geez, it's a big step up. Geez, it's a big step up from fucking 2s to 1s. You can just see it. You know what I mean? But, bro, fucking so good. And again, punters and dribblers, this is obviously a little, but I guess it's just your high school team. It doesn't matter that it's, in the shadows of a $68 million castle. I can't help when my parents sent me to school. I can't help that. But it was a great day out. Sun was shining. The boys, we have a serious team. Obviously, friend of the show, Tony Large.
Was he running around?
He was at fullback. His brother, Ashton Large, was at 13. Holy fuck, he had some go about him as well, did Ashton. At 12. We were standing there, we were talking about, so it was me, Bracey, some mates, Sherman, Hiles, Newby, and...
Oh, the old gang.
The old gang. Brucey even made a debut.
Right. Very nice.
And we were talking...
You having a suck? Can you drink there?
We snuck in a couple.
Yeah, nice.
Not allowed. There were cops and shit. I was like, get over yourselves here. Cops.
So you can't stand around and have a couple.
We stood on the Old Boys Hill.
Yep.
Behind the new thingo. Yep. Hard to see a lot.
Oh, no, they've ruined it.
So me and Luke just pocketed a couple of cans and went in. But someone was going, oh yeah, there's this kid. They're talking about some kid called Heinz Lamoto who's been signed by Toulouse straight out. And I was like, oh fuck, did Shaw's got a Heinz Lamoto, that's sick. And then it was like, no, he's playing 12 for us. I was like, oh, yeah, bruh. And then I start looking at him. He is fucking humongous, like 109, 112 kilo as a schoolboy.
KGs.
He's at 12. I'll say this to Shaw, who lost, by the way, on the bell.
And won last year.
Listen, you guys defended your asses off. Not enough, not good enough, but you really did put in. But so Anthony scores, obviously he does. Like we scored some schoolboy rugby, you see, it's fantastic, dude. We scored some fucking mean tries. And then late, like we were letting them back in, it was a seesawing affair. But we just kept laughing about we've got Anthony signed with Manly. Oh, that's his brother Ashton, might also be signed with Manly. And then
Anthony or Onatoni?
I got both, so okay. I'm gonna mix and match. Yep. And then it's like, Heinz Lamoto, maybe the greatest name I've ever heard. Oh yeah, he just signed with Toulouse. They flew him and his family out there for like 10 days. He is literally still at high school in the shade of a $68 million library. And then late in the game, we were down, I think, and then on attacking their line, and I don't know who it was, maybe it was the 10, puts this chip right out to the wing. We're like, no, just run it, what the fuck? This winger comes in out of nowhere, and Mark Nwangani Tawase's it and catches it just before the dead ball and puts it down, and we're like, Jesus Christ, that might be the best fucking thing I've ever seen. And someone goes, oh yeah, he's in the Swans Academy. So I'm like, we have got every single base covered in that school.
That seems to be how it's going.
Well, it is. I think they should. It should be televised or like streamed.
In terms of like, it just seems to me that all the prodigies from across the country go to these schools and they just get picked up from.
Why not? Let's just.
Toulouse, Manly, Roosters, Swans.
Can we just call it for what it is? It's just a breeding ground for like greats now. Like that's all it is. That wasn't really like that with us. We had a couple of people.
No, it was not like that.
But you had a couple. You know what I mean?
But it was not like.
It was not like this. No. You may as well just acknowledge what it is and then televise
but apparently they're getting them early as well.
Yeah, like honestly started like year 7 or 8.
Yeah, they're getting them real early. So it's like you can hide the what would have once been referred to as importing, which used to happen typically around the year 11 stage.
The year 10, 11, 12.
But year 10, 11, 12, which was transparent.
Yeah, it was
like, we know what you're doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here's
you
a
get them
6'8".
in at year 7, it's like, no, we developed them.
Yeah, no, this is a development school.
So
sure, we have a hyperbaric chamber, which is just, normal.
And a Harry Potter castle.
Get over it. But we sure came back, 1 point up, dying. When I say dying, I mean final breaths dying stage of this game. They give away a penalty, kick it.
Hard kick. Didn't look easy.
It was long. So it was the distance. And he'd been kicking not great. But it was pretty, he should have got it. And shock horror, spoiler alert, did 1 point victory. And needed it after the Manly loss, which we'll get into. But it was,
so good to be back.
I couldn't have had a better day.
Whose idea was that to go there?
Well, Kyle, who is the arch nemesis of Luke Bracey.
Yeah.
Was he there? Yeah, he was there. He was doing photos and shit for him. For Scots. They bumped into each other. And I go, I'm in the middle of them.
Was it awkward?
Yeah. I go, are you too sweet? Are you too sweet? What's going on here? You too sweet? And they're like, oh, yeah. And then we just kept walking because it felt uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
Not like as in I'm going to start punching on, but it was like we've built it up into more than it is.
Well, they almost punched on.
Yeah, but we've built it up.
Well, we're just like, Cody was there. He said it was fisticuffs.
Yeah, it was fisticuff stuff. But holy shit, dude, just a glorious day to be back there at the College of Knowledge. College of the View. They've killed a couple of trees. There's some ocean views that were not there before.
I fucking thought that when I went back for the 15-year a couple of years, I'm like, that view was never like that.
No, dude. There are some trees that
have been poisoning.
Yeah. And I'm not accusing the school of doing that.
But
some trees have disappeared. Yeah. And now I have uninterrupted ocean views from the fucking ground. Tell you what as well, can I say this while we reflect? Shout out to the number 12 who plays in the seconds. I don't know who he is, but as first, and maybe the number 8, as the first were playing, the seconds are just keeping fresh in case you need to come on. Some kid, he just threw the 12s just running past and he just goes, oi, I love Hello Sport.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's just good to know we got the next generation.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know what I mean?
That's nice.
And then the number 8 said Manly 13 plus. Obviously, I don't know if he was just trying to shit down my throat because we got pumped.
Obviously. But he might have been trying to be nice as well.
Yes.
How are the war cries?
Not great.
Yeah, I'd say
disappointing. Actually, me and Luke were like, "Listen, guys, step the fuck up."
Yeah.
What's going on?
I think they've fallen off a cliff. That's what I've heard.
Dude, they've fallen off a cliff. They don't sing anything.
Yeah, no, not good enough.
The fuck's going on?
How often they fire the pipes up?
Dude, the pipes. We didn't hear the pipes for the first half. Basically,
Get fucked.
We didn't hear them.
Get fucked.
We were like, "What's going on?"
Mate, they should be running non-stop.
They should be. If anyone here, if the 12 from fucking Scott's seconds is listening, get a message back to Top Dogs, whoever they are, and say these pipes need to get fired the fuck up. Early. And a bit of Flower of Scotland wouldn't kill you. Again, this is very inside.
Yeah, this is. But get over it.
Yeah, no, get over it. Fuck you.
Is the honk gone as well?
Honk's gone.
Of course it is.
Now, Honk was a little he was incongruous with the whole vibe, but
but we used to honk.
We used to honk. Listen,
as you ran on, it was fucking great. It was like the Viking Club. You just honk.
Honk's the first thing to go if you're going to let go of something.
Surely they got piped out down the tunnel.
Yeah, they got piped out, all that sort of jazz. But pipe and get up and get into them. You know what I mean?
No, pipe early.
Pipe early, pipe all day.
Pipe early, don't stop. Righto. Well, listen, get over it if you didn't like that.
Yeah, if you didn't like that, sorry. Listen, we are who we are, and you make no apologies for it, right?
get over it.
Get over it.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Scots boys,
hey,
up.
Hey,
We're
up.
1-1.
Yeah, lost to
Kings
Kings
last by a
tight.
point. Yeah,
They
by a
play
point.
each other twice now, so
Yes.
there's room to fucking
There's room.
come back.
I'm going to go to some games, dude. I just want you to know
Well, now
that.
you've got me fired up.
Yeah, right.
Now you've got me fired
yeah,
up.
Yeah.
Edward Simpson, heard of him?
Yeah,
fired
I
up
have.
now.
First of his name.
First of his name, fired up.
First of his name.
First,
Hogwarts
1991,
Castle.
Double Base Hospital.
Hogwarts Castle, Hyperbaric Chambers.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Well, listen.
They weren't there when we were there.
Spent a bit of coin at Fairfax, by the way. I think he's fallen apart on the hill.
Have they even looked
mate,
at that? You just forget.
Haven't even given it a lick
Yeah,
of
that's a
paint.
very fucking forgettable place, though. You know what I mean? Of all of them. I mean, Royal.
Come on.
Royal.
Okay,
Jesus
well, now we're
Christ.
getting rude.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry. More importantly than any of that, because if you want to stay inside and insular, I don't know about you, but did you see Tommy Tobler becoming a ring guy?
Yeah.
This series of videos made me feel physically ill.
No, I want to get down to brass tacks.
Kid's out of control.
The kid's out of control. The kid is absolutely out of control. We've not had updates either.
No.
I'm not going to elaborate on the updates up. We've not had any.
Well, we haven't heard anything.
We've had no updates.
I think there's a reason for that.
I'm starting to think that Uluwatu didn't go the way that he'd planned, but who knows?
Listen, Tobler, yes, the rumours are true. I'm officially a ring guy now. Thanks, everyone, for the support on my debut. Shout out to the Balinese businessman for assuring they're the purest sellers. So what he's doing here is trying to make a joke out of the fact that he's a ring guy when really he's pumped to be wearing a couple of rings. Does that make sense?
Well, he probably heard you shit on him.
I didn't shit on him publicly.
I thought you did on the podcast.
No. It was just when I spied rings and I go, oh, this kid's...
Oh, was that just a green room
That was
comment?
just a green room comment where I'm like, this kid's getting into his Balinese rings, and then he comes out fully ringed up.
You've got to remember something, Tom, though, and I think more
Look at that
relevant now than ever is that you've got a single Tommy Tobler,
Yep.
27, 28 years of age, wearing a matching set, having lost a couple of kegs.
Yep.
Over on the trip of a lifetime. That guy, Dua Lipa, the curry's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
That guy
Yeah.
gets rings.
No, he does. He also
What
goes...
are we talking
he
about?
Also,
I'm surprised he hasn't worn them earlier.
he's a bracelet away from getting fired, though.
Mate,
He's a bracelet away from getting fired.
Mate, I'll tell you what would fire him on the spot. On the spot. A toe ring.
Tobler.
Sobler.
Dude, if...
Or an ankle
Oh, no, ankle bracelet, toe ring, you are out.
Yeah, you're done.
You're out.
You're done.
Sorry.
Let that be a
Call
warning.
it toxic masculinity if you want. Get out.
Let that be a warning.
I can't do it.
Or
I
a
can't do
chartreuse
it.
necklace.
Yeah, dude, like those tight, like fucking puka shell necklaces. Or no, the pearlies.
The pearly.
I think it's a pearl necklace.
Oh, you're done.
You're done. I can't have that. It's too much, dude.
I'm actually surprised he hasn't got the bracelet on. He's warming up with the rings for a bracelet, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Skip through these photos. He goes pink. Look at him. He loves it so much, dude. Look at him. Keep going. Oh, the sunny's down. That photo makes me ill. That photo fucked me up. I was like, oh my
This
God,
one?
dude. Yeah. So rogue.
What do you think, Cody Totes?
It's good content.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
No, it's
Yeah,
great
it's so
content.
funny.
No, I love it.
And none of it's surprising.
No.
What's the,
This video was fucking
Yeah, that one was
funny.
good. I like that with his mate. I think this is the rat. This is the mate who like leaks all the Tobler
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
to
love
us.
that. Keep being a rat.
Is
mate.
it?
Yeah. Keep going.
No, I don't think it's him.
Well, no, that guy DMs us some shit all the time.
Oh, does he?
Isn't it Paulie?
I get a few, to be honest. Jesus Christ. Keep going. Look how pink he goes. He doesn't tan old Tommy Tobbs. He goes pink.
Well, he's Swiss.
Yeah, I know. But you can, I imagine there's like, I wonder actually, like, because I'm a white guy, but I go brown. You're obviously already brown.
Yes.
But like, whether there is watch me get pink as fucking Bali. I said that. But there's like getting burnt, and then there's like getting out of the sun at the right time so that you're not pink.
Well, he's pink.
He's pink.
He's just pinky. Yeah, he's pinky.
Yeah, he's pinky.
Oh, pink.
He looks like a freshly born wombat.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, like before they've got any body hair.
Yeah, it's just a pink
Yeah,
little
yeah. Or
sack.
like a kangaroo that like.
Yeah, in the pouch.
In a pouch.
An uncooked roux.
Yeah, and you just see it wriggling around.
Yeah.
That's Tobler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those moles that lives underground, like
yeah,
a blind mole.
Yeah. You got a lot of blind mole about him. Yeah.
Can you find a photo of those hairless blind moles, please, Cody, just so we can...
And if they're not pink enough, then obviously the kangaroo in a pouch.
Yeah,
will do the job.
the blind mole's got to be pink as Tobler.
Miss Tobler.
I miss him too.
Miss him.
He'll be back soon, won't he?
He's back next week.
Yeah, next
but
Monday.
we'll miss. I'll miss him.
No, it's true.
Then we come back and then we go to Mick Fanning's golf day. So
There he is.
There he is, Tobler. Tobler!
Dude, put a toe ring on one of those things and it's Tobler.
Yuck.
Fucking hell, that's so hectic.
Oh my god.
That looks like a dick with eyes.
That looks like a cock.
That's a dick with eyes and teeth.
Ew, like a really
And
old
nose.
one.
That's got a lot of penis about it. That's a walking penis, that thing.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Punters and dribblers, introducing to you 4 Pints Dark Lager.
It's dark lager weather.
Yeah, it is.
God
Chilly
damn.
as all get out. They call it a cold front, Eddie, and there's a cold front coming through. And honestly, a dark lager pairs perfectly with a cold front.
When the cold front rolls in, Tom, get yourself a dark lager and settle in, typically for rugby league football. Now, you might be asking yourself, Eddie, Tom, how do I get 4 Pints Dark Lager? Well, we're here to tell you that from June 2nd, it will be available in Dan Murphy's and the BWS outlets nationally.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Easy drinking dark lager is a beer for the thinking dribbler or dribblet, as Eddie said, available from the 2nd of June. Thanks to 4 Pints. Punters and Dribblers State of Origin Wednesday night. We are going to be doing a live stream with Tommy Dahl from the Alpha Blokes. Jarchi will be joining. Now, Alpha Blokes and Hello Sport, they got a pot off. We're doing a very pro New South Wales pot, thanks to our good friends at Ned's. Jump in, get involved. It's going to be very pro New South Wales punting. You got to be in the About Even group. You got to be on the Ned's app, and then you jump in the pot. Smart decisions here, people. This is the first State of Origin pot ever to be done in the world.
Get into it. Well, the getting's good.
Getting's good. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website. Bit of rugby league, Ed?
Yep.
Bit of rugby league for you. Now, the Lockie Galvin thing.
The Lockie Galvin
Get the results
thing.
up on the screen as well, but we're just going to get some
we'll
Lockie
start
Galvin.
we'll start with El Galvin, generational talent apparently.
Well, Phil Gould's
taken.
He's had found enough time to get Lockie's penis out of his mouth to actually sign him. Go scroll up to the top. Pause. Scroll up to the top. All the way to the top. Look at the fucking ads Cody gets fed.
Oh my!
Look at the fashion
Look at
ads
those
Cody
pants.
gets fed. Screenshot that now, Cody. Screenshot that now, so that's in there. Look at the size of those shorts and look at that shirt.
Yeah, and make sure that goes into
That goes.
the
People are
YouTube.
seeing this
If you
right
want to
now.
see it, go to the YouTube.
That is. Oh, look at that fucking thing, dude.
Look at the earring.
Earring. Oh, I love it. Look at those shorts, bro.
Are they good-looking shorts?
I like the middle ones. I'd wear those.
You're a fucking
Of
sicko.
course you would.
Anyway,
Now,
Lockie Galvin.
Lockie Galvin to the Bulldogs for $300K less than he was offered at the Tigers.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of cheddar.
Well, he said it wasn't about the money. It was about development.
And I suppose the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
One of the great buys.
it's also a risk.
There's a couple of things. Well, he's one of the great buys if he turns out to be generational talent that old Supremo,
Well, yeah. I mean, Jake
Jason
Arthur
Mouth,
could have
Phil
turned
Gould.
out to be
Well-
one of the great buyers.
that Phil Gould reckons. Couple of things. A 6 going to a team with a 6 named Matt Burton. Where does he go? Does he go to fully?
Well, someone said that last week about fullback, but then there are also people are saying Sexton now.
But then I also heard maybe Burton goes to 7. He's not 7.
Way. That'd be crazy. Well, listen, I don't know anything, but I know what I know, and I know that seems like a crazy decision to have Matt Burton, who's not he's not a 7. He's not a 7.
He's not a 7, but neither's Galvin.
And he wasn't even really a 6. He's being shoehorned into a 6.
He's a centre. That is playing 6
Yes.
and doing a good job, by the way.
Of course he is. Well,
but I think
the
that
Dogs are top of the table.
Exactly.
Like,
which is also an interesting thing. Like we've got a team right now that is absolutely humming, that is on top of the table, and what we're going to do is we're going to completely disrupt it mid-season.
Yeah.
That seems crazy to me.
Now, the other thing.
Also, we don't know what we're talking about. So
Listen,
Super important to remember.
and I know that it gets
Except from a gambling perspective, where I'm absolutely dialed. Check out about Evan.
And from a the Warriors false economy. No, they're not. You're a fucking loser. Whoops, lost to a good team. First time they played one. Easy. 5 games on the chart.
In rubbish conditions, we'll get to it.
Yeah, and they're at home with a special jersey. Shout out to Lewis.
And every single player slipped over about 50 times, and Tamale could not go into contact without losing the ball.
No, not a big deal.
Were we?
Not a big deal. That's right. Galvin. Now, the rumour mill, innuendo, was that like he didn't really get on with Luai. And I don't even know if that's a rumour mill. After he fucking said he was leaving, Luai, you know, the bullying and all that sort of stuff. But he's going to the Dogs, which is made up of former Penrith players. So, like, you tell me Critter isn't talking to Luai and Luai going, he's a dork? I'm not saying he is that. I'm just merely musing about.
Well,
like, he's going to have to go in there and still prove himself. So I don't think he's just going to walk straight into any position.
I would have thought, Thomas, my old mate, that him not getting on with Luai is potentially, that could either be a red herring or it's only part of the equation.
Red herring, not a bird, by the way. It's a fish.
No, it's a fish. You're thinking bird, aren't you? Because I was.
Yeah, we all were.
I'm obviously not a big fisherman.
It is a fish, yeah.
What?
Fish.
Yeah, no, we know. I think, though, that a Supremo doesn't sign a kid with a shocking attitude problem.
No, I agree.
So I don't think he's got a shocking attitude problem.
But if you told me there was this guy coming to work with me and you're like, he's a fuckwit.
That's alleged.
Of course it's alleged. I'm not saying he is that.
You've got to remember that Lockie Galvin was angling to get out of the Tigers before all those motherfuckers went there.
Good point.
He wasn't happy there at all. He clearly had identified this is not the right club nor the right system for me. And can you blame him?
I feel bad for Toby Sexton.
And can you blame him? So when he gets there, maybe he's got the wrong attitude at the club he's at because he's already angled for a release and he's still there and he's got the wrong attitude. And Luai gets in there and goes, "You've got the wrong attitude," and they don't vibe because he thinks he's got the wrong attitude, but he's always had the wrong attitude. He didn't want to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
And now I think that if you're going to the Dogs under a Supremo, under people like Critta, who by all accounts is a motherfucker, you shut the fuck up and listen.
Yes. And maybe he will. As in, well, not even maybe he will. There's nothing to suggest that Galvin necessarily has a bad attitude. He didn't like where he was at, as you said. It's more, the thing that I was more mentioning is that, like, if he's fallen out with Appy and Luai,
Yep.
and then he's going to a place where Critta and Luai, best mates, you got Birdo, you got Kicks and all that. Like, whether there's a bit of like, oh, this guy's a bit of a problem, even if it's not true, but that they've got beef.
Well, you'd need to go there and start.
You'd need to go there and be quiet.
Well, you'd need to start there. You'd need to go there and start putting on barbecues for the boys.
Yes.
You need to be bringing in.
Get everyone prezzies,
mate. You know what? I whipped up a bog last night. I thought you might like some.
Yeah.
You know, I've got
a little extra spag bowl.
Yeah, a little
hanging
extra
out.
spag bowl. I'm putting on a load of whites. All those things. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Thank
bags
you,
sir.
Full, sir.
3 bags full, sir. Baba black sheep sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's how you play it if you're going to play it. Shout out to Toby Sexton, or as in, shout out's probably the wrong word. Feel sorry for you, bruh. Was he not re-signed recently?
No, he was meant to be, and then it just didn't happen.
That just never happened.
I don't think it happened. You know, it's like when we say we're going to do like a fucking beep test.
We did it, though.
We did it, but, you know, beep test is the wrong example.
We
Steph
did
v.
that.
Steph v. Steph.
3-point shootout competition has not been
Hasn't
done.
happened yet.
We did the beep test.
Yes,
I want that on the public
no,
record.
that's true. Tobler just hasn't edited it.
We've got the
He
footage.
just looks me in the face and it's like, I'm just not editing it. I'm like, but I sent that to you like 3 years ago to edit. It's like, what happened?
He's had it for 3 years.
Yeah.
Since he started.
Since he started.
And he wasn't busy when he started.
No, of course he wasn't busy. He's not busy now. He's just putting rings on. Anyway, we know you're busy, Tobler.
Wouldn't it make most sense for Burton to go back to the centres, Crichton to go to fullback, Galvin at 6?
Potentially, Critta did want to play fullback.
I think you need to leave Critta in the centres because of his defensive thoroughbredness.
Yeah, but I mean, like maybe, but also like Critta
Could Burton play fullback? Yeah.
Well, but Burton could play fullback, but he also won a premiership at centre.
Is he too slow for fullback?
Burton, maybe. I don't really.
Is he slow?
Is he slow? I don't know.
Is he slow? I don't know if he's slow.
I think maybe just because we're not really seeing him.
I don't
gallop.
think of him as slow, but I don't necessarily think of him as quick either.
I see, and I'd say the same about Dylan Edwards. Is that I don't think of him as quick, but he's certainly not slow. Dylan Edwards is probably fucking quick. I just don't see him as quick.
Yeah. There'd been other musings around Critta staying there, Burton to the centres, and Kiraz to the... Oh, no, you drop a wing, Cherry to the wing, and then you'd have to lose.
Again, it just seems like
But that seems a bit dicky.
Who's the 13? Is he big enough for 13, Galvin? Maybe not yet.
Probably not yet. He came through playing in the back row a little bit, but I think he's probably a couple of years off.
Man,
and he also given the dearth of halves in the NRL, I don't think he'll end up there.
How are you feeling, Cody? Because they're also Talon De Silva now. Also,
well, I hate Parramatta, so I think it's hilarious that he's ended up going to the Dogs.
Yes,
Hang on, Talon De Silva.
Talon's also looking to get out. He's only
You sat there and said that Talon De Silva
Yeah.
saying he likes the club was the best thing you've ever heard.
Yeah, I've been dreading this coming up because it's hilarious
Yeah.
in that context.
Oh my god,
Talon De Silva.
which was weird to begin with because, with all due respect to Talon De Silva, the fact that was the most exciting thing in your life was pretty weird.
Well, I'm a big Talon guy, mate.
I like Talon. Talon's eyebrows are
the
absolutely
most
absurd.
exciting thing.
Yeah.
I'm using.
How old's Appy Coruscant?
He's 33, I think.
And I'm an Appy guy.
He's 32, and he's still easily the best player at our club.
Oh yeah, Appy's great. I'm not saying but succession plans and that, and I guess you could say Appy could play for another 5 years. Do you want to keep Talon De Silva for that long?
I think Appy has to be prioritised here.
Fucking oath, but you didn't say that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I was excited by the idea of Talon staying on with Appy, but if I had to choose between the two, obviously it's...
Yeah, well, listen.
I'd be gutted if Talon left,
That's
though,
how it
for
came
sure.
across.
No, it's...
Came across like you wanted to keep Talent at all costs.
I do. I do want to keep Talon at all costs. At all costs.
Well, so what if it was Appy?
So without...
Barring Appy.
Well, Appy's a cost.
Barring Appy.
Okay.
So 99% of costs.
We're getting a bit technical.
Yeah.
Phil
Gould, though, just 100% footy. We don't want anything to do with him. And then it's listen.
Yeah, but you've got to know that if you listen to enough Phil Gould, you know that he talks complete shit. And it's all misdirection.
Can you get up, go to the Triple M NRL Instagram? I haven't listened to this yet, but apparently Buzz and James Graham go at it around whether Gus should be able to use the platform of 100% footy to lie. Or misdirect. Lying is too extreme. Yeah, Buzz and Jimmy clash. To misdirect for his own benefit. So it's people are watching this and they want to bloody...
I don't like the fact that he's created all this confusion, how he's basically misled. And Jimmy, I heard you earlier saying, look, people can just change their minds, which I guess we have to acknowledge that might have been the case. But he was so firm. When you say this guy is not on the radar... That should mean when you're telling a television audience, people tune in to Channel 9 on Monday nights to be informed by the people on the panel.
Yep.
Now, if you're telling him he is not on our radar, if you're telling the audience that, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, signed, sealed, delivered, Belmore, I don't think it's real good.
Well, Buzz.
I don't, Jim. I'm sorry.
Well, as a Bulldogs fan, I'm happy that he's prioritising me, the Bulldogs fan, over the Channel 9
but
audience.
You work for Canberra. You sit here and bullshit the people about what's happening on there, or do you tell the truth?
I'd say what needs to... I'd say the right thing at the right time, and I think the right thing for Gus to say at that moment in time was to actually...
That was a lie, Jammer. That was a lie.
Okay, hear me out, Ben.
It was a flip.
Hear me out. Because, you can brandish it as a lie, or you can say, I'm playing the game and I'm closing the door, because if I leave that door ajar even slightly, then there's a big media pylon, and we talk about the effect of Galvin coming. Now it's a fact and it's done. We can deal with those ramifications. But if you go back a month ago and you start publicly talking about, oh, yes, we're interested, or we're interested in any key player, you don't even know if it's done. And you have to deal with the ramifications and the innuendo and the talk. Where if you close that door, this may or may not come to fruition, but you close the door from a tactic, from a club-first mentality and point of view. That is the right thing to say. You can say it's a lie. You can say it's misleading, but it's the best thing for the club to do. And Gus is in that situation where he's got the members and fans of the Bulldogs or his audience at Channel 9. And for me personally, I'm glad that he's prioritised the Bulldogs and acquiring and making it as less volatile as it possibly needs to be.
What you're saying is he knew 4 weeks ago that he wanted...
I'm not saying that at all.
Well, you're indicating that.
All right. Certainly wasn't a clash, but
I tend to agree with James Graham because at the end of the day, he has to do what's best for the club. Yeah. However, and I appreciate if he's on 100% footy, then should he be saying that? But it's no different for him getting asked. He would still, as the head of football, get asked by Buzz, for example, and he'd say the same thing, which would get talked about on 360 or get put in the paper. Like, it would still get out there anyway.
But so yeah, I agree. I think maybe you could say that he was also using NRL 360 to suck Galvin from the back. And so, footy. Like, sorry, what did I say? 100% footy. Very similar names, sort of.
Sort of.
Well, you know, three numbers. One number. But you know, so like you're using the platform of 300% footy to suck Galvin off, whilst also being like, we don't want him, but I'm going to publicly suck this kid off. So I guess, you know, yeah, you don't want to have to, like, as to what Jimmy's saying, right? Like, he's doing what's best for the club by saying nothing's happening, but also glazing.
I think that most people, if they follow this closely enough, would be able to go, I don't believe a fucking word Gus is saying.
Well, you have to now. Gus, I don't think, with regards to the Bulldogs, you should not believe anything Gus says.
But even still, I don't think that, even with him saying we would never sign Galvin, we were still like, they definitely would.
Oh, yeah. No, of course. I guess then it's just more, I think, in the specific, if you're in the media role. I think that's more like, if you're the fucking supremo of the club, do and say whatever you want, lad. But if you're on Channel 9, you basically are like, it's almost like, why even ask you about the Bulldog stuff? Because you can't really be trusted with it. And that's fine. I understand why you're doing it. But you sat on that same panel and said, I'll be long gone before Trent Barrett leaves this club. Next week, Trent Barrett found floating in a river.
You could say that it's not appropriate for media personalities to be player agents or running clubs. You could potentially say that as like a broad thing.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily even think you need to have that. Like, there's not major conflict of interest. There's conflict of interest, but not to a point where it's like, from a media perspective.
Well, then you know, you could almost just open up every show going, Gus will lie here. Make your
100% bullshit.
Yeah, it's 100% bullshit with Gus
Phil
Gould. It's 100% bullshit. That's all it is.
Yeah, and that's just his Bulldog stuff. Everything else,
everything else is fine.
Yeah.
Everything Bulldogs related, 100% bullshit. You could call it 100% bullshit with Gus as a segment inside the show.
Gus, we're going to ask you about Lockie Galvin. We're going to ask you about the Dogs, and we understand that this is most likely going to be 100% bullshit.
Yeah. So when you said you were 100% not looking at him, that was 100% bullshit, right? Because
correct.
Even if you said you change it, we've changed our mind. No, you haven't.
You were always looking at him because you'd said that any team with, I'm pretty sure
it's the same. It's the same. It's exactly the same with Trent Barrett. He will be here long after I'm gone. That was 100% bullshit.
That was 100% bullshit. But you should have known that because I'm always going to tell lies. I'm club first.
You've forgotten the cardinal rule. When I'm talking Dogs, I'm talking 100% bullshit. That's all you need to know.
That's all it is. It's fine.
So that clears it up.
That clears it up. Sucked into the Eels. But now in hindsight, you were never getting him. And I feel bad for Donk because Donk was out. Donk was trying his best. Donk obviously didn't have 100% bullshit to promote his...
Yeah, but the problem is if you take Lockie Galvin at his word and it was about player development, when you come in second to last and you basically look like a really bad rugby league side, this is the Eels, then maybe I'll probably go to the top of the table.
Yeah, I'm not going to go from the Tigers to the Eels in this climate.
We were musing, Tom, using our rugby league brains, that potentially he was going to go to the Roosters to create a 6-7 of doom.
Yes.
Now looking likely that they might get our man Daly Cherry Evans.
I love Daly, right? Daly, a dear friend. The longer this thing goes on, but the longer this thing goes on, I think it's a bad decision for the Roosters to be signing Daly Cherry Evans. Their halves are good. Sandon Smith, good. Savala, good.
Hugo.
Sam Walker, good.
They can all play rugby league.
They can all play footy, and you come in with Daly, 37 in Feb. Daly. Like, I just don't know. They're not going to... They might win a premiership with Daly.
We've heard that they wouldn't.
What
I
do you
don't know.
mean?
I don't know.
Well, no, but like you
You
can...
know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can base it on your own...
Mate,
You've seen Winters, right?
I genuinely think them full strength with Cherry Evans could win a comp. I think that.
think
but a
they
lot
could.
of people say they can't.
I think they could.
That's a fact.
I think they could, but I also don't know. There's no guarantees, and if you're losing like your next big things, but again, I don't know if I was talking to you
Mate,
about this.
I eyeball that side and I go, there's some pedigree in that fucking side. Mate.
I might have been talking about this
There's some pedigree.
with friend of the show, Luke Bracey. I can't remember. But or maybe it was even Sebo. But the Roosters are like grand final now. We'll buy someone for the future. Like, who gives a fuck about setting up for the future? We'll just buy someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, they didn't get Cherry Evans and plan for this year.
Well, they're a bit half-half. They've got blokes in their club that they've been building up over time.
but in halves, usually not.
But they like to historically buy someone to get the job done.
2013, they bought James Maloney. They had Mitchell Pearce.
Yes.
Then 18-19, they bought Cooper Cronk. They had Keary, who was like there for a while. But Keary also purchased.
They had Mitch Pearce, who was told to leave.
Well, Mitchell, yeah, they go with Mitch, but they had Luke Keary there.
And they did it with Kyle Flanagan as well, who had a pretty good year.
Bought Kyle Flanagan. Kyle.
See you
Thank
later,
you,
Kyle.
but
And
no
now
thank
Kyle's
you.
been doing the rounds.
Kyle's been doing the rounds. The Kyle Flanagan club tour.
Yeah, back to dad.
Back to dad. He's going okay.
Oh, full respect
He's
to Kyle.
going okay.
But I'm not lying when I say what's happened.
No,
he's done the
tour.
rounds. Now he's back to dad.
Now he's back. Well, exactly. And, sometimes dads know best.
Dads do know best, often, but not always.
Not always.
But I think Shane Flanagan's a good style of the coach. So that's
I
out
think
there.
partly, sorry to interrupt, I think partly with what a big appeal for the Roosters would be, do you think he would almost do like what they signed Chad to do? Like, I know that sounds crazy, but
Chad.
Is there a world where they sign him and they don't expect him to play the whole season, every single game? Is he there kind of like one season, finish
You'd be
his
paying him $1 million.
Mate,
You'd want him playing
we're hearing whispers out on the rugby league grapevines are that he's going to get $1 million a year. You don't sign a 37-year-old halfback on $1 million a year if you don't expect to win a comp.
Yeah,
But
you're
also
right.
if you don't expect
A
to play
Chad
every
Townsend
game.
role is exactly what Chad's doing, but they didn't expect Chad to be this bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, listen,
No, that's just a fact.
No, he wasn't great, but I actually don't think they expected
been dropped.
They actually didn't even expect him really to play that much. They signed him,
because
and then
Sam-
Walker
no,
went
'cause, yeah,
down.
true.
So he was a backup guy and a bit of a like, let's pass on some knowledge, have won a comp in that.
Yep.
And then he came into play, and it was like, ooh,
Yeah.
let's get him out. Let's get this new Savala kid,
Let's
good
get
style of a
let's
kid
get this college of knowledge kid.
Yeah, let's get another fucking Hogwarts
So that
Castle
makes,
kid.
I think it's an odd one, to be honest. I do. I still think there's a great chance he goes to the Dolphins.
Yeah, mate. I mean, the Dolphins could do with him more than the Roosters, it seems.
Just in the sense that it wouldn't shock me if the Roosters mull it over and say no. Also, if you're in camp, not a great signing for the Roosters, which I'm neither here nor there, probably less there than there, is, is that the Roosters have been hashing up signings lately. Like, they got Nwanga Nitawase, right? But they've also... There's been some ones that haven't worked
they've
out.
cocked up some signings.
There's signings that haven't worked out.
Yeah, they've cocked some up, sure.
And they used to pride themselves on no juniors getting the signings right.
Art of the deal.
Deal.
Yeah, they were real art of the deal
They
guys.
were real out of the deal guys.
They seem to have fucked that up. Now, I mean, we're on the Roosters, so let's just talk the Roosters. Them beating a full-strength Sharks side, not a single player out for Origin, and they were decimated.
Can I say something? Tom?
42-16.
Can I say something? Will you permit?
I will.
permit
You have
me
the
to
floor, yeah.
have the floor?
You have the floor, yeah.
When it comes to rugby league, our gut is always right.
Yep.
And unfortunately, because I haven't yet seen enough winters, and I've got to be honest about that. I'm 34, but I'm still short. I'm not 70.
No.
I haven't seen heaps of winners. My gut said from the start of the season, this side doesn't have the underbelly required. Now, I was misled after a couple of tidy wins, but a soft underbelly still has this in them.
Yes. I guess because I did apologise to the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks last week.
Yes, I think we both did.
We both did, right? And so I'm not prepared to fully walk that apology back.
You don't want to redact it?
Not yet. And it wasn't an apology, so I don't have to redact anything. It was merely an acknowledgement of certain things, certain truths. But I don't know whether this is a symptom of a rugby league season that doesn't know its asshole from its ear, where every team is up and down, smiles and frowns, or whether it is merely another exemplification of what we had mused, which was that the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks are of the weak underbelly, soft underbelly persuasion. I don't know.
Couple of things to unpack. On their day, Tom, they can mix it.
Yes.
With the best of them.
Yeah.
They do have an inconsistent performance in them, which is where the underbelly comments started.
But could you say that the Melbourne Storm do? Because the Melbourne Storm lost to them. Or the Melbourne Storm lost to the Dragons.
Yes.
Like, what are we talking about?
It is an upside down.
The Bulldogs just got their bumholes eaten by the Dolphins.
Yeah, we'll get to that. There's a couple of things. Topsy-turvy season, right? Where on some weeks, I would argue strongly that these teams don't want it badly enough.
Yeah, I know.
There's a competition up for grabs here where there's no clear winner or front runner. Maybe the Dogs, but still, have a look at the side. You're like, have you got the halves, son? No one wants it badly enough, in my rugby league opinion. What I would say about these results specifically, Tom, and we'll open with the Dogs' absolute pussy licking by the Dolphins on Thursday night. I know it's crass, but it was a crass performance.
No, it was a crass performance.
Thus, the use of crass language, punters and dribblers,
Yeah.
is that this was by round footy.
Yeah.
Let's not get carried away. This did what it said on the tin. Underdogs should win, and I forgot that coming in.
I know.
I bet with some underdogs this week, but what was begging to be done was underdog. Whack it in a multi. Good night, nurse.
Yes. See you later.
This is by round footy. It happens.
Well, so, but then if it's by round footy, is that an excuse then for the Sharks?
Potentially, yeah. Potentially. And I know I'm a little bit of a dog's breakfast here.
You are all over the shop. Arthur Martha.
However, let's simplify it. This is an upsy-down, topsy-turvy season where at points in time, clubs haven't been hungry enough for wins.
Yeah.
I think that there's some scared sides out there that doubt themselves. Are we the big dogs? Do you truly believe it? That's an issue.
Yep.
By round footy also spits out weird results. The Roosters, without man, beating a full-strength Shark side is that... What's that?
The
Bulldogs weren't even losing that many troops to get fucking pounded by, licked to death.
No. The Bulldogs don't have an excuse. Could you just get me... I wouldn't mind... Who's favourite for the premiership? Would it still be the Storm?
Let's guess. It'll be the Storm.
I imagine it would still be the Storm, but if you're talking about like big dogs, like clubs going, are we big dogs or not? There's really only one team that is a big dog, that knows how to be a big dog, that's still in the running, because Penrith are done. So the Storm are up there in and around. Like, the Dogs don't know whether they're big dogs or not, and maybe they're not, but like they wouldn't know. They'd have some
You know what?
280. What is it called when you're like when you don't believe in yourself, when you don't feel right in the position you're in?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
Dogs will have it.
Sharks will have it. Raiders will have
it. Well, Raiders, I think Raiders are just overperforming.
Maybe.
They've got a great pack, but they're
exceeding expectations.
They were last in the betting for the start of the season. So don't come out now and be like, they've got the best fucking pack in the comp. I'm like, where was that chat in February?
Well, you can have information. New information can change your opinion, in fairness.
They're over exceeding expectations.
They are.
Could I say this to an old friend who doesn't mind a rugby league punt? If there's teams there with imposter syndrome that I think, lack certain elements to get the job done from a comp perspective. And the Storm, with inconsistent performances, maybe down to the loss or the lack of a Harry Grant at times this season, who...
Although I think Harry's played both games they lost, but I hear you. Actually, that's not true. They lost to the... Anyway, carry on.
I don't think that's... He maybe
No.
maybe
They got
won.
fucked by the Dolphins. I think he wasn't playing. Anyway.
Whips Kraken, full strength, September football, belief versus imposter syndrome, 1 comps versus 1 none.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some Penrith players of the Dogs that have won comps, but I'm talking...
No, but,
bulk. I'm
team
talking
stuff.
Team stuff. Is 280 for the Storm. Is that a nice rugby league price?
Yeah, probably.
Probably is.
It probably is, but when you've got all the other teams, it's probably still not enough. But it's listen, we can get to that. We can look into that.
Yeah.
We can muse that because our sack bets have been good. So the Roosters against the Sharks, the Roosters look fantastic.
Unbelievable.
When they're young guys, it's the second time this year I feel when they've been up against it from we got heaps of players out. They did to Penrith earlier, where they just come out and feed.
Tubes sets the tone with a double early. Hugo Savala was amazing.
That used the flick pass from Tedesco back into Savala.
Tedesco was great.
Mark Nwangani-Tawase might be one of the greatest signings in rugby, in the history.
Well,
of the game.
he's... if we just say how many games did he play last year, not that many.
He played 1.
He's essentially a new signing this season. He's the signing.
Could he be Rookie of the Year somehow?
I'll check.
So he only played 1 game last year. I don't know if that's even reasonable, but he is Rugby Australia. This is one of the great cock-ups of all time. Great to sign Suoliti, that's fine. He is a generational talent. Mark was already there, and he was already the man.
And he was already doing it.
Doing it. Did he win the John Eales?
Let me check.
Where's Will?
Yeah.
Did he win the John Eales medal, Mark?
For the World Cup series or just last year?
No, isn't John Eales medal like their Dally M?
Player of the year.
Yeah.
It's
Possibly.
also their Alan Border.
Yeah.
No,
Whatever. The fact that he has come
I'd like
over.
to know. Now I'd like to know.
No, they can keep looking, but I'm just not going to sit here in silence and wait. The move he put on Kale Iro, I believe it was late in the game.
When he caught the ball flat-footed.
Flat-footed, bootsed, palmed, flick pass to Dommy Young.
Left, palm, flick.
He is an incredible talent. Just raw talent.
Rob Valentini won it.
Congratulations to Rob.
he is also eligible for Rookie of the Year. So you're eligible for your debut year and the subsequent 2 seasons until you've played 5 games in a year. So had he played 5 games last year, he wouldn't be, and not got it, he wouldn't be eligible this year because he only played 1.
Yep.
He can get it.
Mark should be Rookie of the Year. That would be hilarious. He's 28. No, he's not. How old is he?
28.
No, I just...
Is that old?
The word, no,
He's 24, isn't he, I think?
24.
24.
24. Whoa. Anyway, they're really good. Sharks are shit. That's an embarrassing loss from the Sharks. If I'm a Sharks fan, you have to be angry. I know we call you soft underbelly, but you have to be pissed off at that. We'll get to Manly, punters and dribblers, don't worry. But that's a piss weak performance. You've got full strength.
It's a shocker. The Roosters have been getting up for good sides this year.
Yeah, they have.
Or at least sides that are high above them on the table.
They got
Sandon Smith
no
and Hugo
shit.
Savala, when they're playing together, rip.
Sandon Smith.
They rip.
I read somewhere he's on the radar of the Cows.
Fiketti, good. Radley was great.
Oh, Victor, 150th game, the inflictor.
Victor was
Did you
great.
see the T-shirt his mates made? It was 150 games, 36 concussions, 400 tackles or sin bins or suspensions or whatever.
Great. Love it.
All right, let's go back to that Friday game. Dogs, Fish. Fish gave him a good licking. You seem to think you know why?
Buy Round Footy. That was why.
That was all.
Yeah,
Okay,
that-
so it's
yeah,
just
it was
buy
Buy
Round Footy. Right, yeah, buy Round Footy.
Because they weren't losing that. Critta was on playing, and that was it.
Critta and King.
Preston's out as well.
Preston.
Is So they had some out.
So
but,
Preston didn't. He's suspended. Preston.
Yeah, he's still out till like
but
15.
44-8. Like, get it together.
I tell you what, it's a bad time to be Toby Sexton. You get pumped 44-8, and you got all this Galvin shit on the wind. You're like, You see Kurt Donahue break his nose and then have to play the rest of the game?
No.
Dude, he got headbutted in like the 5th minute. Nose broken to shit. And then he goes off and they just sort of like squeeze it, mix it all back together. And then he had played the rest of the game, scored a try.
Go Kurt.
Apparently in rugby league, like you just play on with a broken nose. I wouldn't want to do anything with the broken nose other than lay down in bed and like
Cry.
whimper.
Yeah.
Not even cry, be like, oh, it'd be the most fucking
Sooky whimpering.
sooky,
Yeah.
soft cock whimper of all time.
Hold me. Hold me. Hold me.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, dude, just squeeze it back into place. I'll go and play
Hold me
another
and feed
70
me.
minutes.
Feed me. What would be easy to...
It'd just be slurping shit. It'd be liquid.
It'd be like chicken soup.
Yeah. Or just put a bloody Big Mac in a blender.
Blend up a biggie.
Yeah.
And then throw a thickie in there.
I wonder, would a Big Mac, like, would that still taste nice blended? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
it tastes
do.
nice.
No, I do. What you're asking me, Tom, if I'm reading between the lines, is that does the flavour of an item change even though it's been blended?
Yeah.
Or is the flavour, because you haven't added anything, I'm assuming you've just blended
Blended
as
it.
is.
Yeah.
Let the oil do the talking in terms of, is it going to be wet enough to blend properly?
Oh, it's wet enough to blend a Big Mac. You kidding me?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I'd clear that up. Would that taste any different? I think that if you were able to put out of your mind the way it looked, which would be horrific,
Yes.
I think it tastes the same.
Well, the thing, though, is that part of the food experience is the texture.
yes.
So-
great point.
The crunch of the lettuce, the
No,
coarseness of the patty,
No, it's absolutely
the
right.
cheese, the metallic taste and feel of the cheese.
That's a great point. So I've always liked banana bread, banana smoothies. Insert other things with banana in them here, banana paddle pops.
Yeah.
But I don't love the texture of a banana.
Interesting. I don't mind the texture of banana, but I can completely understand why you don't. The inside of it's a bit like,
it's a bit how you're going.
Yep.
So texture, you're right, has a huge part to play. So I think
Do we blend a couple of biggies?
and just try 'em.
Try 'em.
I think we should.
I think we should.
No, we have to now.
We have to. We need to get a NutriBullet and we got to blend a couple of biggies.
We're going to blend biggies, a biggie smoothie.
I'm reading a Reddit forum here that's saying basically a burger isn't just a bunch of flavors combined. Any sandwich is dependent on the order in which you taste the flavors and the temperature of each ingredient against each other. For example, if you blended cold lettuce and tomato, it would just turn into warm, sloppy mess.
Listen, I can't.
Well, we
necessarily-
can't be
you
sure.
Can't be sure.
And that Reddit thread doesn't seem to be saying we've blended Big Macs.
No.
Now we know for sure.
like, oh, you can tell me what the surface of the moon was like, but unless I'm there myself, how can I truly know?
But all you're doing is saying, in my opinion, they need to be eaten in order. However, I
Have never
also
blended
must
a Big
acknowledge
Mac.
that I've not blended a Big Mac. So
Supercharged Super Rugby is live and on demand on Stan Sport. It's all come down to this. Who will secure their spot in the Super Rugby Pacific Finals?
on Friday night, Tom, the Highlanders take on the Chiefs with the Brumbies then hosting the Crusaders in Canberra. Saturday afternoon opens with the Blues facing the Waratahs, our boys, followed by the Hurricanes meeting Moana Pacifica.
Wrapping up all the action, the Reds host the Fijian Drua, closing out the regular season. The only place to watch every match live and on demand is on Stan Sport.
Head to stan.com.au/sport now.
Okay, everyone. Sure. Let's talk about Manly.
Should we-
Sure. We are not a final side based on that performance. And now we're talking ups and down, topsy-turvy rugby league, Cherry not there, whatever.
Well,
We're not. We should have won that game. The Eels were last on the table at that point. They had bloody Footy Dean.
you want to talk about how weird this season's been. And this has been me being brutally honest. And I think that this year has been the year of honesty. More than historically we've ever been.
About our club.
Yeah. The fact that we were 6th last week, I think,
Shocked us.
was the most shocking of all statistics. Probably in the history of me watching rugby league, how we were 6th. It has been probably the toughest season I can remember watching for Manly.
Yes.
That's how bad it's been.
Yeah.
The performances have been horrific. There has been next to no moments where, like, there's been moments of brilliance, sure, but they've always been coded in me being anxious about the result.
We're 2 points ahead of second last.
Yeah, 3 points ahead of last.
And that speaks to the season, though, as well. So, like, 4th place is on 16 points. 16th place is on 10. So, the thing is, that performance on the weekend against an Eels side that was missing their 2 best players, Mitchell Moses, General, and Zach Lomax, all-time throbber on the wing. Freak. And they were coming last. We had Cherry out and we had Gerbo injured. Sure. Fine. Not enough. Not a good enough reason. Sorry, they had Footy Dean at 7. No disrespect to Dean Hawkins, but I don't think Dean Hawkins knows he's not Mitchell Moses.
Well,
Dean Hawkins lay on 4 fucking tries, dude. Dean put us to the sword.
Most people would think Dean Hawkins is an astrophysicist, not a footy player.
Correct.
You know, son of
Yeah.
someone.
So Dean Hawkins is That's
I'm not gonna name names, Tom. I'm not gonna name names. It's not my style. It's not what I do.
No.
However, there was someone tasked with responsibilities
Leading the team around.
that they haven't had in previous weeks because of Cherry Evans.
Because they maybe weren't the team.
And they weren't great.
Listen, what I'll say is...
And what I would say to further to that is that thank the rugby league gods almighty that they allowed us to purchase Jamal Fogarty.
Oh, bro.
Because if we had moved next year into a
Brooks Turbo
situation,
halves pairing,
I would have gone fucking mad and I'd be in a straight jacket.
Yeah, the team's already sending me mad.
I would be in a straight jacket, padded walls.
Yeah, rocking back and forth.
24-hour, 7-day-a-week surveillance because I wouldn't be able to handle my reality.
There was a period there in that game where we started well.
In fact, you're right. It might be straight jacket season.
I know. No, it's already... That loss was putting me into a straightie. I was out on the couch filming videos of myself while my wife was like, who is he talking to out there? I'm like, this fucking team.
It's straighty season.
It's straighty 180, dude. Now, the start of the game, Jake Arthur went to the bin. Met Jake, great guy, great kid, hell of a kid, great guy.
You met him, have you?
Well, I think you have too, which is offensive that you don't remember. Offensive to him, not to me. Lachlan Croker, heard of him, back from injury, happy to see Croaks back, love him. He stepped into the 7 role. He actually came through as a 7. He was a 7, not to like get all fucking, you didn't know this punters and dribbles, but he actually was a 7 coming up. We looked way better with him at 7, and I think that's when we scored our points. And then when Jake came back on, we started scoring points. I'm not blaming Jake exclusively, but I'm just like, okay. Now, the rescue dog has a lot to answer for as well, because RD, you were the chief playmaker. You were the chief. You were chief playmaker, RD, and you didn't do anything. No disrespect, RD, you didn't.
You had the chief. You had the chief band on.
Yeah. Our forwards, outside of Bullymore, who has got my dick all the way up, we didn't do much. Our defense was disgusting.
30 points by the Eels.
Yeah, but not just like that. We just let the line... Could you just check the line breaks? I mean, like, it may not even be that there were that many line breaks, but every one of them resulted in a fucking try. Line breaks, 5. They would have all led to a try. I would almost say that every single one of them led to a fucking try. They're just non-existent soft defense. Like, what are we doing here? Who's running that? What's happening with our defense? Pretty sure RD and Corey Eates got fucking found out.
Our edges have been a problem, a big problem. 30 points by Dean Hawkins and Du Bois.
Yeah. And again, not a knock on footy Dean. Dean does what Dean needs to do.
Dean Hawkins isn't Mitch Moses. I shouldn't.
He played like fucking Joey Johns.
Well, I think he had help.
He had 4 try assists, mate. Footy Dean had 4 try assists.
Does he get 4 try assists against a half decent defence?
That's the point.
Yeah,
No disrespect to Footy Dean, but why are we allowing Footy Dean
That's what I'm saying.
4 try
That's
assists?
what I'm saying. We allowed Footy Dean to play like Joey Johns.
Yeah, Joey Dean.
30-10.
Yeah.
Another 9 errors from us as well.
9 errors. Yeah, we love that.
30-10.
Lehigh Hopewadi is the truth on the wing. I love Lehigh. I've been saying when he was fullback, I don't think he's not there yet, but when he's on the wing, he's there yet.
Tommy Turbo dealing with a cork, apparently.
Improved, though. I will say Tommy looked better. He was running freer, for sure. It was an improved performance from Tommy.
Corked up, they reckon.
Yeah, he's corked.
It's every week you need to play footy to de-cork.
You got to run it out. You got to run a cork
Where did you
out.
get a cork from? Where was...
Mate, he's playing high-speed rugby league. Could have been from fucking someone's shoulder.
How long you been corked from?
Oh, the last 4 weeks I've seen him been corked. And now his
Can
knee.
you be corked that long? It's a long cork.
I don't know, dude. I think a cork, like you can get a bad cork.
Jeez, that's a hell of a cork.
Maybe you used to dead leg your mates.
Well, you'd cork legs.
Yeah. I fucking wrecked.
You did. 4 weeks, though?
I think I read that he'd been dealing it with the previous 2 weeks before, like the NRL physio reported coming into the game on the weekend, it had improved a lot from the previous 2, which he'd been dealing with it.
Because he had the knee, which was strapped, and then maybe he had the cork as well.
Yeah, but I will say no strapping on the weekend for Tommy,
No.
which was good.
It was good.
Well, it's an improvement. You're right.
I liked
I am being genuine, though. Even a couple more of these types of performances, and I will wear a straitjacket.
well, no. Listen, have we got to buy this weekend?
No, I'll check who you got.
Broncos on Saturday night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Broncos on Saturday at home.
Great. Well, I wonder the Origin backing up? Probably. Saturday night, you say, at Manly as well at home.
They'll back up. These will back up, for sure.
No one was working harder on this night than our friends Dan Ganane and Cooper Cronk of the Fox League commentary team, trying to get Joash Papali'i's name right, because he's Papali'i, spelled exactly the same as... Sorry, now I'm doing it. He's Papali, spelled the exact same way as Papali'i, and they just want different pronunciations. And so initially it was Josh Papali, right?
Yes, for forever.
Forever. And then we were like, oh no, it's actually Papali'i.
And
Sweet.
then
Everyone changed.
And then one season, I think that Josh Papali'i was the first example I can remember where someone just goes, you know what, enough's enough. You're actually getting all the Islander names wrong, and Josh was the first one to go, this is how you do it.
Yes.
Which I think started a movement. Now, I can understand how they've got confused because
now
we're going back again.
I just think with it, as it comes to Islander names, which don't necessarily roll off the tongue.
Well, not for a white boy.
Not for a white boy.
I'm used to a Smith, a Jones.
Correct. Simpson.
Birmingham.
Birmingham. But I think that, everyone is having a crack of saying the right things. If you get it wrong, that's fine. But if you've got a Papali and you're like, no, it's Papali'i, and then Joash comes and he's like, no, it's Papali. You just heard Ganane and Cronk being like, get fucked. What are we going to do here? Like, they were trying to do it, and he scored, and Cooper Cronk's like, and Papali over there. And then there's a bit of a pause, and then Dan just goes, bear with us, we'll get it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. But Joash got a bit about him as well. Joash can play. Isaiah Iongi also can play. Like,
Iongi has been a handful this season.
Oh, yeah. He's good, dude.
He's really good.
He's good. And he put us to the sword with, obviously, Footy Dean.
When Footy Dean puts you to the sword,
I just need
you
to
start padding the cell.
There's no you pad, dude. We're padding up. There's no one really explaining to me. Like, this doesn't feel like
What? Explaining what?
Accountability.
Accountability, Tom. You're looking for
Mate, like-
Seabold to come out and say stuff? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, I don't know. Because to his point, like in the post-game presser, he's like, well, we were really good against the Cowboys last week. And then this week we come out and we're shit. He's just like,
we were okay against the Cowboys.
Well, sorry. We won.
We won.
But we won convincingly.
Yeah, but did you watch the game?
Yes, of course I watched the
Full
game.
of errors.
Sure, but we were able to defend, and we were able to defend those errors. This game, we were markedly worse than we were against the Cowboys.
Yes.
Now, does that speak to a topsy-turvy rugby league season, or does it speak to just a side that's just not that good? We're just not that good.
Or is this buy round?
Or is it buy-round footy? Maybe this is just buy-round rugby league. I don't know, dude.
Historically, I would be able to sit here with me old mate Tommy Burns and go, buy round, shut up. Buy round, shut the fuck up. It's buy round footy, shut up, shut the fuck up. What has made that difficult this season is that this is topsy-turvy land.
Yeah, it is.
Where anything's possible, seemingly. The Panthers are dead last. Think about that. The Panthers, of 4-time premiership winners who've lost not much, are now fucking dead last.
They've lost not much, is in players.
They lost Luai.
They lost Luai. They lost fucking Fisher Harris.
No, I'm talking last season. Fisher Harris went the year before.
No, he didn't.
Was it this season?
This season.
True.
No, they've lost heaps.
They've lost heaps, but last?
Well, last. is
Last?
true. But it was also, listen, I'm going to put a pin in Manly and say, listen, there are straitjackets coming. And am I going to need to take a straitjacket to Bali and you need to take one to fucking Hawaii?
I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be in a straitjacket in a foreign land.
No, neither do I. But I mean, what happens? What happens then?
Because I said a couple more performances like that and I'm in the straighty.
You guys rip on me 13 or 14 more times, I'm out of here. That's a basketball reference.
I think I'd like to be with you when I'm wearing a straitjacket.
That's a good point.
And I'm not convinced that Ella would be able to get it off me once it went on.
Well, that's true. Near a pool, what if you roll in?
What if I roll in?
Yeah.
I've got, again, foreign land with my daughter, need all hands
No,
on
that's
deck.
true. You need to be able to...
So, where do we get to? What the fuck are you guys talking about? You're not making any sense. Here's the reality of the fucking land in which we live. It is a topsy-turvy season which cannot be predicted. That was buy-round rugby league. Manly suck, will need a straitjacket. Boys, look them up. That's where we're at.
Yeah, look up purchase of straitjackets. But it could be that it is buy round and we're just a little emotional.
However, because we suck, if it was buy-round footy, we should have won that game.
But we were we were favourites.
You were favourites.
Sorry, yeah, 'cause the underdogs won. Yeah. No. So, buy-round rugby league sees the outsiders win. We feel like we suck, but they were the underdogs.
True. But typically what you'll see in buy-round footy is a bad side have a better performance.
Yeah, but if we're talking bookie stuff here, the bookies had the Parramatta Eels the worst side, which they were. We should have won that game.
Yes.
We're a better team. Footy
and buy-round
team.
footy, that's why we lost.
Buy-round footy, that's why we lost. So it could be okay. But that's what a crazy person would say.
That's what someone would say who's trying to get out of a
Out of a
straitjacket
straitjacket.
and out of a pad and cell and
Yeah.
out into the sun.
Yeah, that's it. That's what someone who's trying
Pretty
to
sure
break
that's what
out of
Leo
that.
said in Shutter Island.
Yeah, no, he said it was buy-round rugby league. Manly a good side, just buy-round footy, and then he ran away and started eating his own feces.
Well, he got a lobotomy,
Now we'll move on to.
which I'll also need if this continues.
Well, listen, no, it'll be straitjackets, padded cells, lobotomy.
Knights beat the Panthers. Fletcher Sharp at fullback looked way better than Ponga.
This was actually, but this wasn't.
Sue me.
This isn't buy-round.
Sue me.
Well, I said this. I said that them unencumbered with the expectation of someone like Ponga, who's so good, and it makes, he's probably 50% better than everyone else in the entire team. And that'd be the next best. 50% better than the next best, and then it gets even worse as you go down.
Yeah. It's like Winks running against country horses.
Yes. But so in that regard, the Knights probably often feel like, shit, we just got to get it to our big dog all the time. But this one here,
real under sixes soccer
yeah, give it to the big kid.
or under sixes footy.
Give it to the Islander boy who's just going to fucking run through everyone.
Give it to the kid with the beard.
Yes.
Who lost his passport.
Yes.
And no one's sure of his age.
Yes. Now, This here was able to be a team performance with the Knights. Fletcher Sharp, good style of a bloke, coming through, new kid on the block, at fullback, getting more touches, in space. Dylan Lucas, another great player. He stands the fuck up. But not just that. It's back to Penrith being a dog shit side, which was just so obvious. They have everyone out, and they aren't good this year. So they take everyone good out of a side that's not good, you're going to be awful. And that's exactly what it was. They were awful. I don't know how the Knights were fucking underdogs, to be honest.
That's what... This season is a dog's breakfast.
Yeah,
Nothing makes sense.
No.
And that's why this season has a lot of straitjacket padded sell about
yeah,
it.
no, it's
Because
good.
it makes no sense.
No, but it's great.
It makes no sense, but it also makes perfect sense if you know what you're talking about. Of
Yeah.
course the Knights won.
Yeah, of course they won.
The fucking Panthers were missing Dylan Edwards, Nathan Cleary, Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo,
Brian To'o.
read a book.
As well
you
as-
can't win with those boys out.
As well as missing Luai and Fisher Harris from the previous year. So, like, they're just... Everyone good is gone. Blaze Talangi was their premier half. No disrespect. Dane Laurie at fullback.
So essentially 7 players out from last season.
You don't recognise that team when you look at it. You go, yeah, that is a 5:30 depth of winter, rainy, shithouse game I'm not going to watch. That's a Pooslinger side.
And that side has been horse shit until Cleary got back in, and then they were drawing with the Cowboys. So,
Yeah. Yeah, follow along. Wake up. But it was Bathurst, it was cold, it was Pooslingy. Like, you don't watch that game. You don't watch it.
well, you watch it if you got a bet on it gets up.
I just kept an eye on it. I wasn't going to be...
Well, as in watch it.
No, you don't watch it.
When you said watch it, I thought you meant like I'm having dinner. It's on in the back of the room.
Yeah, no. I was like,
Because then I can see something flickering out of my periphery.
Yeah, and I have to bend it backwards to go and see the score. I was having red wines with my wife and Luke, and then I was just like, Dylan Lucas is on a hat trick. Would have scored 4. That's how I watched that game. Now we've already done the Roosters, but Penrith now last. Their season is done. I think it's ridiculous when people are like talking about it and they're like, are we prepared to put a lot? I'm like, yeah, bruh, they're done. They need to win 9 of their last 13 games. They're done. Penrith are done. That's fine. They're missing the finals.
They've won 3 of their first 12.
They're done.
Line through 'em.
All good.
Why do you think that they need to win 9 of the last 12, given how tight the season is?
That was just, I heard that spoken about where they was sort of like doing napkin math, as you've been saying recently, of like what they need to get.
Well, that's pure napkin math.
Yeah.
Because 2 wins, they're like in the top 4.
Yeah, but it's just sort of over the course of the last few years, like where the numbers are.
No,
to sort of make the
I'm with you.
finals.
I don't think they apply to this season based on what we've seen so far.
You're probably right.
12 wins just got you into the 8 last year. Just. The Raiders missed it with 12.
It's going to be 10 this year. Maybe less.
I don't know. We'll see. But because at some point it may stop being topsy-turvy. Because right now it really there hasn't been as many Pooslings this year because you don't know what
Well,
the
I
fuck
think
is gonna happen.
I think that's probably something we need to point out. That shout out to the rugby league this year. It's been highly entertaining.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And even Pooslingers have been entertaining. So that's that's a great thing about topsy turvy land.
Oh yeah, absurd land. Which is
But then as we get down to the final game of the season,
round.
If you know what you're talking about, you had the Raiders to win this game.
Yes, you did. You did. It was over in New Zealand with their new jerseys. What was the name of the jersey?
It was sick though.
It was great. Louis from Earls, Louis Brown, former Warrior, former Seagull, former Panther.
Dear
played for
Warrior?
New Zealand. Huh?
Dear Warrior
Dear
jersey?
Warrior. He designed the jersey. It looked fucking mad. And, it had me a little concerned about whether that was going to get him up. But,
As Sebo said, it's a very triplable
yes.
jersey.
Yeah, it is. Listen, I'm not going to come in here and shit on the Warriors and be like false economy. I've been saying that, but that wasn't a false economy loss. No. That was a tight game.
That was
the wet.
Yeah, on a Sunday night in front of 26,000.
Yes.
Shout out to the people of Auckland who got around it. at the end of the day, it was wet weather footy. I reckon 50 people slipped over.
Yeah.
Maybe 60.
No, it was pissing with rain. Absolutely pissing. And
Absolutely steaming down.
tight affair. Raiders got it done. But again, that's a good sign for the Raiders, winning tight games. They didn't have Huddy Young. Mark Nichols or Matty Nichols, whatever his name is, he's broken his leg.
Matty Nichols.
Matty Nicholson. Matty Nicholson.
I was very impressed by Tarpano, who was just
He's just a big old beast.
just barking.
Yeah, barking.
Woof stuff.
Did you see them all like Gene up at the crowd afterwards? All the Canberra Raider players were giving it to the Warriors fans.
Yeah, they were.
Giving it to them.
Tamale was up and about.
Hot tamale.
I
So
mean,
anyway, that's
what,
it.
What do you say? It was a tight game.
Whatever, nothing. Raiders won.
Either side could have won. Raiders got the Chockies. Jamal Fogarty, great try.
Great try.
Tommy Starling.
Great try. Coming to Manly.
Well done, mate.
Great try. Terrell May on the Matty Johns show
Yep.
with one of the great bummies of all time. And that's not a bum chin, that's a bum bag.
A coach bummy.
Coach bummy. But it's almost so big it's not a bummy either. It's a satch.
It wasn't a bum. It was a
It's a
satch.
satch. But it was fucking humongous and very unnecessary. There was nothing in that either. There's nothing in it.
I was saying to Tom,
Fletch asked if he keeps his Skittles in there.
Is that what he said?
I believe may have been the
Shout
line.
out to Terrell, who is just, as we said the other day, he doesn't give a fuck. He is just himself. He is who he is. He has an unwavering commitment to just being himself.
Well, he's a satchel guy, and he said as much, Tom. He said, reach out, coach, if you're interested in sponsorship.
Who's coach and why aren't they sponsoring Terrell May, for fuck's sake?
He also said he's partial to an LV, that's Louis Vuitton bummy, or rather satchel.
How much does an LV satch cost you?
Have to be $3 or $4 wouldn't
You
it?
reckon?
Yes.
And coach? What's a coach setting you back?
Coach satchel?
these
I don't
look
know.
like they're about 400 or 500. This one looks similar to Terrell May's.
Coach.
Yeah, some of these 350 to 750.
Damn, I was hoping we'd get one. That seems expensive.
I'm not buying a $750 coach satchel.
That's what I'm saying.
The
was
Louis
hoping
V
they
ones
weren't
are
that
a
expensive.
bit more.
Louis
look-
Vuitton, $3,000.
That's for a bum bag. That's not even a satchel.
That is so fucking stupid.
What did you think that'd be? Louis Vuitton?
I've never looked at a Louis Vuitton bag price. I don't know. I've never ever looked at one. I know they'd be expensive, but I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I'll hear about it.
Mate, that high end stuff is.
Sometimes I'll hear about a
absurd.
handbag price, and I'm like, oh my god, that is like those Birkins, like $40K.
Hermes.
Some bag called a Birkin bag is like 40, 50 grand.
Yeah, I think Hermes does them.
See, like I don't really know this shit, but I didn't know that.
I could be wrong there.
What I was doing there was trying to work out whether we could get bummies that were of a coach quality.
You know
I'm not
what-
paying for
You
a
know
fucking...
what we could do? You know what we could do is we could send someone we know with a new obsession for jewellery, particularly rings, down into the markets of Bali and get us some LV satchels.
Dude, yes. Get us some fake LV satchels.
Because that's where you get them. You're going, but he may as well do it for us.
I don't want to do
No,
it.
no, you don't need to do it.
I got family and
Oh,
shit.
that's what I'm saying.
Cody,
Yeah.
tell Tobler I was going to do it then. I'm like, just tell Tobler we need to get some LV satchels.
I will. I'll pass it on.
Put it on the company.
Well, they'll be cheap, so he can just get them as presents.
You get him as gifts. Yeah, fuck him.
He owes you a gift.
He owes us a couple of gifts now.
He does.
I wonder if he'll come back with anything. Probably not.
Well, he will because he has to make up for that horrific
Chocolate,
pen
Swiss
chocolate
Army
that he
knife.
got, Swiss Army knife chocolate he got for us in the airport.
That was so disrespectful.
It was disgraceful.
That was so disrespectful. It's like, what? After everything?
After
What did we get you for Christmas, Tobler? Remind me what you got you for Christmas.
heaps of money. That's what we got. We got for all everyone.
Well, I know, but I'm just mean like,
I've not been bought a gift ever. Except
Cody
except
came
you
back from-
Except you bought me a birthday tequila that I also bought for myself.
well, I bought it for your daughter, not birthday.
Oh, was it my... okay. Yeah, no,
So
I've never
cute.
got a birthday gift ever. That's right.
Well, I've never got anything from you either.
No, exactly. I'm talking about...
Well, Cody went to New Zealand. Why didn't you come back with anything?
No, of course not.
No, right.
Um,
Actually, we also owe Wirram a birthday present.
yeah, but we've been asking him to buy it.
Yeah, just get it and we'll pay you.
Yeah. So...
Good point. Anyway, Terrell May, bummy of consequence. I
Love it.
loved it. I loved it.
Has there been, and away again, I've been away on my first parents' trip, so I haven't read absolutely everything. Has there been even one news story out of either Origin camp?
Nothing. It's been so slow, dude. And like whatever, that's fine. The game,
Payne Haas watches on as players train in the rain.
dude. You know what there was? There was one last week where they're like, Angus Crichton got married. You're like, and it's like, oh, this is an abnormal honeymoon. It's like, well, he would have been at his club playing footy, so it's not. This isn't a honeymoon. He's out at Origin camp. Like, what are we talking about? And again, what I'm talking about here is the clamouring for anything to talk about. There is nothing. There's nothing. Payne Haas still injured. Angus Crichton
sorry,
being married.
I'm with you. They're saying that Angus Crichton got married and this is his honeymoon, is to go into Origin.
That was the article. And they spoke to his new wife and everything. And like, but it was just nothing. And it was also like, I think he got married like 2 weeks ago. So it's not even like it was the honeymoon. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole thing was just.
Well, he got married. They played Friday night. We called it famously at Magic Round. He got married the next day.
Yeah.
So that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Grow up. Grow up, media.
Yes.
Grow up. I feel like this might have been the most limp-dicked lead up to an Origin I can remember.
Yeah. It feels like it, doesn't it? And I'm not blaming the media really here. There's like. Laurie Daly got asked, do you hate Queensland? Just say yes. Say yes, why not? Gussie, you know what? Gussie apparently was on Triple M and he's like, oh yeah, love Robert Toyer, but I plan on killing him.
See, that's better. That's better stuff.
Not picked up anywhere. Except
That's
Triple
better.
M,
That's
like,
better
that's
stuff.
better stuff.
That's better stuff.
You know what I mean? Laurie and Billy are a bit like just, well, they're boring. By design, probably intentionally boring. They're like, we don't want to give the opposition anything. You got to though, right? The more the Latrell Spencer media band's going on, I'm a bit like, you know, I'm also like, you shouldn't be allowed to have a media ban in Origin.
No, it's
You
not.
shouldn't be
It's
allowed.
not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Sorry, you got to deal with that. Like, if you're gonna take the money that Origin gives you, then you have to speak.
Mate, I completely agree. I've actually thought about that last week, but it was out of recording times.
It was also way funnier just to do our staff writers meeting.
Oh, of course it was. It was hilarious, and we're funny guys. I completely agree. Going, mate, this isn't club footy. This is Origin.
You have to sell the
and
game.
you'll be speaking, otherwise you won't be getting paid. How about that?
How about that?
How about that? I think that makes complete sense. This is Origin. It's
Sorry,
completely
dude.
different. It's a different thing. It's a different concept, different consequences.
Now, listen, people are going to be asking you the same questions. You can't get away from that. But if you want to be in a media band, like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
No, I've never really understood that.
Neither. But you can't.
But you can't.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason, you can't. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And if you do want to, you're a greedy guts. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been fucking limp as
Yeah.
all get out. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not pumped. I will be foaming at the rugby league.
Well,
mouth come
live
Wednesday
stream,
morning.
Hello Sport, YouTube, myself, Edward, Tommy from Alpha Blokes, heard of him, and
Jack Edward Archdale.
Jack Edward Archdale joining the crew, the team. He's coming
Duck
in.
crew. For what promises to be a great evening for the state.
Yes.
If we are to sweep them, we need this first one. That's how it works.
That is how it works. Probably a good time to mention that we've got our pot, which is open in the About Even group in the Neds app. So if you're into riding some Origin punts with us, that's where to go.
So the lay of the land will be, if you're listening, if you have a Queensland bent, or if you're a New South Wales turncoat who supports Queensland, or if you're just pro-Queensland,
With your Queensland.
our pot's not for you.
No, go to the Alpha Blokes
Go
one.
to the Alpha Blokes pot. Our pot is going to be dripping head to fucking toe with New South Wales greatness.
Yep.
Know that.
That's it. That's what our pot's going to be about. So feel free to come and jump in there if you would like to. That live stream is Wednesday. Then tune in Thursday morning for our hungover review show.
Making sense?
Making sense? Not to be missed. Now, the one bit of Origin news that did catch my eye was a photo that emerged of Daly Cherry Evans deep in conversation with Ashley Klein, the Origin referee. basically giving each other a bit of 69 work on the side of a field. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know whether the captain of the Queensland side... Look at this. Dave's got his shirt off and Ashley Klein's got an erection. What's happening there? What is happening there? Why is Daly's shirt off? And why is Ashley Klein looking like that? Why is he smiling? What are you smiling about, Ashley?
When was this taken?
The other day.
And he's calling the Origin game.
Yeah.
He's ref.
There is a chance that is just at Manly, though. I will also say that. But even then, what are they smiling about?
That looks a lot like it's at Manly.
Listen, it looks a lot like it's under the sheds at Brookie.
It is.
Right.
That's not the point, though. Why are they catching up?
When was this?
This was a couple of weeks ago, based on this article from SMH this morning.
Not good enough.
Yeah, it says it is rare for a whistleblower and a player to spend nearly 20 minutes deep in conversations, as Cherry Evans and Klein did that day.
They look like they're talking about manipulating Origin results.
That's what I'm seeing. 2 weeks ago as well, how orchestrated is this? That 2 weeks ago, they catch up for a little powwow. Cherry Evans shirtless.
Well,
it's freezing cold. It's raining there. What's his shirt off for?
Well, Klein can't come into an Origin camp. That would be too...
Brazen.
Would be too brazen. That would be too outrageous. That would be flying too close to the rugby league sun. But you know what we can do in an attempt to manipulate results, because as Queenslanders, we have fucking no chance, so we need to turn to the dark arts. Let's catch up 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
And I will not wear a shirt.
Come down to Manly. I'll take my shirt off and you can just stare at me.
And you can have a gander.
Have a gander. Oi, have a gaze at what I'm working with.
Nip down to Manly. I'll be shirtless. You can have a gander.
Yeah. And then you obviously give us some favourable calls.
Particularly early in the match.
I hope New South Wales have that up in their change rooms. You know, look at this.
If they don't, they're missing a trick.
Yeah, Loz is missing a trick.
They look like best mates.
Look at Ashley Klein's face. Like you
Ashley Klein looks like the bloke. Sorry. Ashley Klein's face looks like the one you would see on a bloke who has just been offered sizable amounts of money to give away calls early in an Origin.
That's the face you make.
That's the face you would make.
Yeah. Find someone who looks at you the way Ashley Klein looks at Daly Cherry Evans after being offered sizable amounts of money to throw an Origin game.
Early in the match.
Early in the match.
As to rob New South Wales of momentum.
Yeah. Allegedly. Not by us.
Klein's sitting there going, you think you've seen it all with Suoliti last year.
Oh, buddy.
He's using a double send-off, that bloke. Now, this is all alleged.
And not by us, but that's what we're hearing.
Look at that photo and tell me I'm wrong.
A picture tells 1,000 words.
That's what they've always said. And the 1,000 words that it's telling are...
$1. That's 2 words. $2. You probably get to 500 and then you...
Probably not. Well, maybe do it in thousands. Do it in $1,000 increments.
So it's 5,000. Get paid.
No, 500.
$1,000 increments?
Starting at 1,000, 2,000.
So now he's only getting $500.
500,000.
500,000, we think.
No. I think genuinely 50 grand.
Conservatively, generally.
Well, how much you got to get paid to throw an Origin? That's if you're a ref.
It's a good question. I don't know. What would a ref make for an Origin? It's more than that. $2,000?
2 grand?
$3,000? Well, you're getting... If players get 30...
5, at least.
State of Origin referees earn approximately $11,000 per match, which is divided among the 4 officials, including the head referee, 2 touchies, and video review official.
So there's 11 on offer total.
Yeah, so about 2.75
dude.
each game.
So if you get 10, he's doing it.
Yeah, true. And Daly's got money.
He's got heaps of money. All right, punters and dribblers, it's time for another Good Day review.
Yep.
Try this on for size time. This is an absolute corker. Started taking Good Day after my boyfriend started using it, and I noticed a big difference in his energy, mood, and resistance to colds and flus. Can't believe this stuff is so good. I have more energy and I feel I no longer need a coffee to get me going. It tastes really good as well, which is a bonus. I'll definitely be subscribing. Like, that's what... It just does what it says on the tin.
It's it. It does what it says. It says what it does. BeGoodHealth.com.au. Code Dribbler for 10% off. If you subscribe like this Dribbler, it sounds like she's about to, you can get 20% off. It's cold weather season. It's sick season. It's cold. It's I'm coming down with something. It's, oh, geez, I hope I don't get too sick. I've got that thing on. Pound your good day every day and stave off sickness, or at least you stop yourself from falling all the way into it. Uncle Reedy.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, mate.
Oh, fantastic. What a weekend it was.
Are you happy because there's news coming through right now that Critta's gone off the training paddock with a quad injury?
Well, as a Queenslander, I'm not exactly disappointed to see that.
What's going on there?
Well, obviously, he's been carrying a groin injury, but it looks like he's picked up a fresh one. They're saying it's cork, but he didn't look great, did he? So he's huge for New South Wales if he's out. I mean, he's just about the form player in the NRL this year, so could be good news for us Queenslanders, lads.
Well, you are a former athlete yourself, I believe, playing in the NSL in Queensland or whatever it is. Like,
years ago.
Any insight you can shed on whether a groin injury can, lead to a quad injury?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I know they're sort of connected, but I don't think a groin injury leads to a quad injury. I mean, if it's a cork, that's normally a contact injury, right? So,
well, it said quad injury. I wasn't sure if it's. I didn't read cork, but I haven't read anything. I just saw it.
Well, maybe I've misread that, but I might have been on the phone to someone before who said it was a cork. So, look, it might be. If it's more than that, I don't think you that whole your knee bone's connected to your shin bone. I don't think your groin is connected to your quad, I don't think. So I don't think they're related, no.
Okay, all right.
Can you rub a cork out?
Can you rub it out? Well, I think it takes time for a cork to come out. Yeah, you can physio and get some work done on it. So you'd probably fast track it. He's got a couple of days. He's a pretty tough bugger, Steve Crichton.
Oh, he's a tough bugger.
Oh, yeah.
You can massage a cork out, I think, with but I didn't know if you can do it in like a day.
He's got two, though, hasn't he? He's got a couple.
Oh, it is Monday, isn't it? James
but he's only got a couple. Yeah. He's not drowning in days.
Yeah, I think he might be okay, but I'm sort of hoping he misses this one.
Oh, well, listen, as a Queenslander, you would.
I get it. Listen, as a Queenslander, I'm sort of hoping it's just a bit too much for him. It takes him it's a 3-day injury, not a 2-day injury.
Any chance of classic state of origin mind games here, mate?
Always a chance of that, isn't there? There's always a chance of that. Although what makes it interesting was it was a closed session, so the media had been tossed out session.
Oh.
So if you were going to fudge an injury, wouldn't you want the media to see it? Now what's happened here is someone from within the stadium who wasn't kicked out has filmed it and passed it on to the media. So if they've gone to that lengths to fudge it...
Where's the footage? I can't see the bloody footage anywhere.
Well, I can't... Well... It's on the opposition newspaper, so I prefer not to.
Don't plug
I prefer not to promote. No,
the Daily Mail.
Yeah, the Daily Mail. But it's out there. There's some footage out there doing the rounds. But he looks pretty proppy in it. Actually, it doesn't look good for him.
Oh, fucking hell, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What about Payne? Is Payne good?
No, I've been told Payne's 100% ready to go.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
well, it's close to get 90, maybe 98% ready to go. He should be fine to play. So no concerns there.
You can play at 98% ready. You know that.
Easy. Well, he can. Well, that's true. Yeah, often I did. Many people thought I played at about 60% most of my career, but that wasn't injury related. That was just I was rubbish. But anyway.
Now, the Lockie Galvin situation, we had discussed it before earlier in the show before having you on here, but obviously you had indicated that there will be a flow-on effect potentially to Lockie going to the Dogs. Could you give us a little more insight on what that is?
Well, there's a couple of things I find interesting about this. Now, I don't know whether you guys were aware of this, but Friday night there were some meetings with Parramatta with Lockie Galvin. Not with Lockie Galvin involved, with his management involved. And Friday night, Parra walked away from those meetings thinking they had their man. Thought they had him. So
huge.
So they get up Sunday. Obviously, this news came out. It's a bit of a shattering blow to them because they were really confident after Friday night. They bumped up their offer, gave him a bit more cash. and we're pretty confident. And they won that game, obviously, against Manly, from memory. Sorry to bring that up.
No, that's all right, Reedy, mate. We just thought we'd let that one go through the keeper.
So it was a pretty good night Friday, right? They won a footy game. I thought they got Lachlan Galvin, and they get up Sunday, and obviously the news come that they've missed him. Well, there's going to be a flow-on effect at Canterbury. There has to be, because where are you going to put him in the team? I think initially maybe he comes off the bench, but the word is that he'll likely be the halfback there long term. That means that obviously Toby Sexton gets squeezed out, and he's off contract at the end of the year.
Fuck the season though. Like, you just wonder. I know, like, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Like, if a Galvin's on the loose, you got to get him.
But like, they're already hot.
They're already top of the table.
I know what you're saying, but I'm one of those people who's had doubts over them all year, because I reckon they lack. If you look at the really good teams that win comps, they've generally got real class in their spine, right? You look at the Canterbury spine. Burton's a really good player. Reid Marnie's been a bit up and down this year and last year. Then you got Sexton and Tracy. I mean, they're good players, but they're not. You wouldn't say they're elite for their position.
No.
So, and I think we saw it on the other night. Canterbury got belted the other night by the Dolphins, right? And we saw what Isaiah Katoa did to them. I think you need genuine. If you're going to win a comp, and I think they've realised this, that you need genuine class in your spine. And Galvin, he's not the finished article, right? But he's going to be a really, really, really good player for a long time. So I think they've just realised we need something. If we're in a position right now where we're going to challenge for a comp this year, but we're not going to win it unless we've got someone, a spine that can create more, can change the momentum of games, can win us games in September. And I reckon Lockie's one of those guys. You stick him in the halves with Burton, suddenly you've got a halves pairing that can win you games in September. And I reckon that's what it's all about at the moment.
And so are the Eels going to go out to market, mate, and look for another half? Like you mentioned, I heard Jonah Pezzet's name. You'd mentioned there somewhere. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to, because they're in the market. They've got a bit of money to spend. Jonah's the obvious one, because Jerome Hughes is about to do a new deal in Melbourne. He's got an agreement in his contract with the Storm that if Jerome Hughes extends his contract, he can look at other clubs. Now, it might be maybe it's a loan deal, because I think Jonah Pezet really likes being in Melbourne and being at that footy club. So maybe it's potentially a loan deal for a couple of years before he returns to Melbourne. But I think Jason Rolls obviously knows Jonah Pezet as well as anyone. So I'm sure he's in their radar. Sandon Smith's the other guy, right? Because he's at the top. The Roosters are about to bring Daly Cherry-Evans to the club. Hugo Savala's killing it. Sam Walker's going to come back at some point soon. So Sandon's sort of the odd man out there. So they're the two obvious guys that I look at right now. I think if you're going to go find a half and a decent half, they're the two obvious guys who are potentially on the market for next season. So they're probably the guys you've got to keep an eye on, I think.
Are you hearing that Cherry Evans is a lock to Roosters?
Yeah, I think we've all sort of heard it for a while now. And I mean, Daly come out and confirmed that he was talking to them. So I think that's the expectation. I reckon post-Origin they might knock that over pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
If you're a Pezet or if you're a Sandon Smith or a Savala, you reckon their management's sort of going like, let's just keep our powder dry because there's two new teams coming in and like we could get some. Like Sandon has been playing pretty well. Like
yeah,
or is it better off just going like take a deal?
What's the old saying? A bird in the hand is worth, what is it, two in the bush or something?
Better than two in the bush or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Well said.
Birds and bushes.
If you can get a long-term deal at Para on decent money, you've probably got to take it. If you can't, if they're not going to give you decent money, maybe you do sign for 1 year and then and look at Perth and look at PNG down the track, because they're going to have to throw money around. They're going to have a salary cap of around 13 million. And it's open slather. So it depends. Depends how much they want to stay in Sydney. All those things come into play. But maybe they just do a 1 year deal and then look for the big bucks that are on the horizon.
Yeah, interesting. Now, Reedy, mate, we obviously we're big fans of yours, mate. Like, man,
huge.
We're just Tom and I we couldn't speak more highly of you, mate.
Yeah.
But we also thought that you were fans of us,
Yeah.
And we were under the opinion that you're big on loyalty, and that was your thing. Like Reedy and loyalty and Reedy.
Hello Sport in the bio.
Reedy and Hello Sport. That's all he does. Hello Sport first operator. So you can imagine our shock and our dismay.
Yeah.
Our hurt.
hurt when we just see that you're pretty partial to any sort of podcast, you know?
Rocking up on bloke.
Rocking up on
Hold on,
bloke in a
hold on.
bar. Like, I thought we were...
I thought we were cool, man.
Yeah, I thought we were cool.
Guys, this was a
To
work.
be
If you
getting
notice,
cheated on.
To get cheated on publicly.
To publicly
Not
cheated
that he's
on.
coming into the fucking studio.
I know. You've
if
never
you
come in here.
noticed, I'm happy to come in the studio, boys. If you noticed, I have a code shirt on. It was a work commitment. I was committed via work to make an appearance on there. So my arm was twisted violently to get me on there.
Jeez, it
And I
felt
said
like
to
a
the
public
boys,
cheating.
I said, look, I'm a Hello Sport guy. Got long-standing loyalties to them. They said, can you just do this one for us? So, I apologise for that. I apologise. I've got to be honest, I felt dirty doing it. Very dirty. I showered.
Well, it looked dirty, mate. It looked dirty.
Well, listen, it was a dirty gig.
Yeah, it was
I had
dirty.
a couple of showers.
Okay.
It was pretty. It was a pretty bad scene. But no, he's a good fellow, Denon Kemp.
Hey, Denon's a great friend of ours.
You guys occasionally do crossover things. You guys do
Oh,
stuff,
listen, Reedy, that's not what we're not here to litigate. We're our own behaviours, all right? It's, we're focusing on you right now, mate.
It seems like there's a touch of hypocrisy about this. But anyway,
Listen, you were caught in bed with a competitor, and that's that.
well, you've slept with them, so it's all good.
Well, is it?
Well, listen.
That's not the worst point you make, Reedy.
Two rights don't make a wrong,
No,
mate.
that's exactly right.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Well, I apologise, lads. Apologise.
All right, mate. Thanks again.
Good on ya.
No worries, guys.
See you, Reedy.
Boys, cheers.
Grumpy Coffee Code, HSP, because we're dirty at Reedy for going on bloke.
We're grumpy.
Yeah. So,
What's the code?
HSP
Hello Sport Productions
podcast.
podcast. I'm all over the map.
That's okay, mate. Hope you've ordered lunch.
I have.
So that is for a 10% discount on the Grumpy Coffee range. HSP is the code because we are grumpy at Brent Reed for going on the Monday review show for Bloke
And
Bar.
Lord knows I could do with a grumpy right now.
I had one.
So
you go have one.
I'm flat.
You go fire it up. You go fire it up.
I will. I'm going to fire up the pod.
Good. Punters and dribblers, Supercoach chat. Supercoach is tough to buy around. My God, I'm finding that out the hard way. Now, our friends at SwiftX who bring you Supercoach in 2025 got a new promo going on. So, $30 of Bitcoin for you and your friend if you basically recommend them to join.
It's called refer.
Refer. What do I say?
Recommend.
Recommend.
It's called refer.
It's refer.
It's called refer a friend.
Yes.
And it's brought to you by our friends at SwiftX, who are the best in the Bitcoin / crypto space, Tom. Good friends of ours.
Good friends of ours.
$30 for fuck all.
Well,
All
listen,
you've gotta do-
refer a friend.
all you gotta do is say, mate, you want to join SwiftX? Yeah, I do. Well, you get $30. I get $30.
Of
Job
Biddy.
done. A biddy of itty bitty.
Itty bitty Bitcoin.
That's a deal.
It's also a very. I like the app. Like I like.
No, it works well.
It's a good app.
It's a good style of
It's
an
a
app.
very good style of an app. The SwiftX app.
I'm a huge fan of it. Offer valid until the 19th of June 2025. So get on your crypto bike,
Yeah.
okay,
Get going.
and get moving.
Refer a friend, not recommend a friend. Refer a friend. $30 of Bitcoin to you and the friend you recommend.
Link in the show notes.
Yep.
Now,
Dude,
I suck at Supercoach.
I suck. My team is so bad.
There's a couple of things.
I've been panic trading as well.
There's a couple of things, though. Thing number one is that I need to put in more effort. And as Nutrigrain taught us, you get out what you put in. I'm not putting in.
I dropped 27,000 places this round.
Put it this way, I'd be dropped. If I was playing first grade rugby league, I'd be dropped for lack of effort.
Can you stop farting, mate?
No.
Well, just like, it's during a sponsored segment that, like, you're just letting them rip.
Well, no one heard.
Well, I
you
don't
just
know.
brought it up.
I fucking heard. I'm so bad.
Now, first and foremost, oh, for God's sake, I've got to log in. Sorry.
Same, I had to log in as well.
What the fuck?
Oh, I also won. I still got to win. How is that even possible?
Bear with us. Just
I've
logging
got him
in.
up on the screen if that's helpful.
The Goers beat Tobler's team, did you?
Bradman
Yeah.
Zest. Yes, I did. Fuck yeah. I am the goers, aren't I?
You are the Goers.
Yeah.
Now, I would have lost again.
You did way better than Tom, but you lost to some random in our comp.
Sucked in, lad.
So the guy I lost to got
826.
10-10.
Dude, the buy round?
1,010.
What psycho's doing that?
Andy. Who are you, Andy? Cody
got 1,019.
Christ
I
alive.
had a great week.
How?
Fletcher Sharp and Dylan Lucas scored 140 each. So if you didn't have them,
Which I didn't.
you probably
Oh,
got
no,
left,
I had Fletcher Sharp.
you
I
got
had
left in the
Fletcher Sharp.
dust. I captained
The
Lucas.
fact I won with that score is so unfair. Like, that's the second lowest score in the entire round for the about even thinger.
You just played the worst score.
I just played Mr. Rings. Dude, can we have a look at teams? Eddie, who'd you have?
This is Eddie's team on the left here.
So,
Fanua Blake?
who did I have playing? I captained Fanua Blake. Obviously, Fletcher Sharp was the play. I had Hines, Metcalf, Olakawatu. If you go up a little bit more.
Down. Yeah, there.
Down. Who did I have? Smith, Sandon Smith
Yeah.
as well.
Yongi got 90.
Iongi, Garrick, Sandon, Billy Smith, Corey Horsburgh, Zach Hosking. Not like my side's okay.
I had no one, dude. I reckon I had like 7 players playing.
Yeah, you had about 8
Olakawatu captained again. That was a mistake.
or 10 maybe.
Trebojevic, Samrani, Smith, Bullimore.
Oh, you got Bully.
Of course I got Bully, mate. Talangi, that was a dumb purchase. That was an emotional emergency purchase. Trying to just get someone who was playing into my side. Tamale, Horsburgh.
Have you been
you go.
rocking the emergency trades?
Yeah.
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 How many of them have you got left?
I've got 26 trades left. I don't know if that's...
Are you talking about a boost?
Yeah, boosts.
How many?
Have you been boosting?
Couple. Last few weeks I've been boosting. I got... Well, it says I got 0 boosts.
So you've used them all.
How many did you get?
I think you get 5.
Oh, yeah, I would have used them.
But those...
Nice.
I would have used me boosts, dude.
Can you go? What are you coming overall in the Hello Sport League, which is important?
No, it is. Dude, I'm like 100,000.
Overall,
Yeah. I dropped significantly. Excuse me.
in the all-important Hello Sport League, I'm coming 4,353 out of 6,014.
I'm 4,622 out of 600. Yeah, so you're not beating me by much, lad.
No, I'm not beating you by that much. I'm not beating you by that much. We're going like a busted though, mate.
Yeah, we are. But that's okay. We're trying. We're out here trying.
We'd mused at the start of the season about combining our talents.
Yeah, but you know what would have
into one
happened
super
is that
team.
I would have ended up doing it all. And then you'd have been like, this is a fucking shit team.
But I have been doing it.
Yeah, but if it was
I'm
just up
beating
to
you.
one of us.
I'm beating you.
I know that, but if it was just up to one of us, I'd be left by myself, I reckon, and I'd be doing it. I'd be going, you'd be off on your fucking, I'd be like, oi, dude, who should we trade? And then you just be like, and then I'd get someone dumb, and you'd be like, you're a fucking idiot. I'd be like, well, where were you? I was at home with the kids, you know?
I do trades.
You were out.
I've been doing my trades.
Yeah, but you would have left me with the kids, dude.
Why am I out all the time now?
Because you are.
When?
You would have left me out. You would have left me with the kids trying to make trades.
That's what I would have done last year.
No, you would have done it this year, mate.
But I'm beating you.
I know that, but you wouldn't have cared.
Well, I want you to acknowledge that.
I just did acknowledge it.
Acknowledge that you're losing.
I just acknowledged it. I acknowledged it before. You don't even acknowledge it twice. Fucking dog. Who won? Who won so they get the $50 a biddy?
This guy, Lachlan, his team's
Kalen
name's...
Bonger.
Yeah.
Kalen Bonga, Lachlan with 1,191 buy round points. Well done to you, sir.
Clearly had some Knights players in there. you would think.
$50 worth of biddy coming your way. Email Turbo at
Well,
HelloSport.
maybe email Cody this
Email
week.
Cody at hellosport.com.au.
That's Cody with a K.
KODY at hellosport.com.au.
There you go. Send him an email. Say, g'day, mate.
G'day,
and then
lad.
screenshot your team, prove it's you, all that shit.
All that shit.
Shout out to SwiftX. Once again, best in the business.
Yeah.
Go to the show notes, hit the link, refer a friend, get $30. They get $30 in biddy. You're welcome. Tom,
And if you haven't signed up yet, sign the fuck up.
shall we move on?
Yeah. You see the photo of the piss hole?
Yeah, I did. Mate, I saw the photo of the piss hole and my first thought was this has been doctored.
Yeah, dude, I didn't think it was real. This is James Magnuson we're talking about here.
So I went to his Instagram and saw them putting him into the suit. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. He's gigantic.
He is absolutely enormous.
I
have never seen anything like it. Like
No.
I have, obviously, but
He
I also haven't.
Dude, look at the size of him, bro. We should be getting him on this week. He should be coming in for a chat. That was who I think we were alluding to at the start. Look at him, dude. He looks like a veiny cock. Look at him. He looks like a fully erect dick. And I say that with respect. That's not meant to sound anything other than respectful. But he is so goddamn jacked. They did a documentary. It's on YouTube. You can search the Enhanced Games. Your boys might feature heavily early on. But he's getting interviewed there. I might even just send you the link, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting interviewed in this thing. And you're like...
Send it on WhatsApp, please.
Yeah, I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. His arms, like his veins are like 6 meters wide. Apparently he's not as big now. Like that, all this stuff you're seeing is from like 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Right.
Or maybe even Feb. I'm not sure. And then obviously with the games...
Slated for Las Vegas 2026.
The Enhanced Game should be flying us out.
Yeah, we should be.
We put this whole fucking game... We put the games on the map. With Missile, obviously.
Well, I think you could argue.
Just drag forward to where we don't need to see us being spoken about. I just want you to see Missile being interviewed.
I think you can argue that the games don't go ahead without us. There's no games.
Without us, are there games?
Is there a games without us?
Drag it forward if you aren't already.
Oh, yeah, I'm just...
We should be getting flown business class and put up
Maybe
in
first.
First, yeah.
I'll take business.
But we'll also take first.
Yeah, just
put in,
look at this.
Put in the swankiest of all hotels.
Look at his arms, dude.
Wow.
Look at his arms, dude. Circulated globally. There you go, that's all. Circulated globally, not a big deal. But, dude, his arms. Those arms, just as he's sitting there. Anyway, the piss aisle. I have just been reading, like just observing the news cycle over the weekend, and I don't understand why people are so upset about it. The SMH have basically been running an exclusively anti-missile campaign all weekend, helmed by friend of the show, Peter Fitzsimons, who was calling it cheating. And I'm like,
it
can't be cheating because you know it's happening.
It's not cheating.
It's not cheating.
No, you're missing
the point.
The point of the Enhanced Games, the point of this whole thing is to take steroids
and to see how good you can
enhance
go.
the body through artificial means.
And see what the results are.
That's the point. That's what the whole point of this thing is.
You can't call it and then like the whole thing of going, like you can disagree with it, that's fine, but you can't just make factually incorrect statements where you're like, it's not cheating, but it is because you know he's doing it. People cheat. It's cheating if it's in the Olympics because it's not allowed in the Olympics.
Cheating. It's cheating where it's not allowed.
Exactly. And
is it cheating? Is it cheating at the what's it called, Mr. Olympia? Is it cheating there? No. There isn't a single bloke that's at Mr. Olympia that hasn't like fucking pounded it into him.
Pounded gear. But so the thing, like you can not like the idea of the games, sure, like don't like it, that's cool. But to say that it's cheating and then also to be like, you know, after everything he's done in his Olympic career, like why would you go and, ruin your reputation and sully all this thing? It's like, dude, why don't you talk about the fact...
separate.
But why don't you talk about the fact that you make no money as an Olympian? Why don't you talk about the fact that as a swimmer, you get every 4 years an opportunity to get a Weet-Bix commercial or a Harvey Norman ad and make your money then, and then for the next 4 years, no one gives a fuck. What's wrong with the potential for something like this to give someone like the piss aisle an ability to use the skill set he dedicated his life to make a bit more money, to prolong a career in a unique way? You're not cheating at the Olympics. He was a 2.5 over world record time. Like, who gives a shit? It's something different.
He hasn't tarnished his legacy because they're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing.
He's come out years after being retired,
Yeah.
and gone, I have seen an opportunity here to enhance myself, to have a crack at something different. It's got nothing. It's tied in no way whatsoever to the Olympics. They were
Other
trying
than
to
the
like
fact that they're swimming.
exactly. They were trying to also draw like some real loose bow between. There's been form before with the bloody steel knock stuff. I'm like, that was in a camp in Italy months before the games.
And they're like, and that's not form.
No,
That's also not form. And then, and again, like, you tarnish your legacy. Missile, you got his asshole ripped apart when he was an Olympian by the media. They all fucking shit down his throat. And, like, not just him, everyone did. I can swim gold medal. Like, he was young and he said, like, he was very brash and it didn't go his way.
Well, by 0.01 or something like that.
Right, by pubic hair, but that doesn't matter. Like, he got absolutely lambasted in the media, and now it's like, I don't know you motherfuckers anything. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do.
What do I owe you? People have got their knickers in a rugby league knot because they think that the sanctity of sport is under threat. Well,
Everyone
no.
cheats in sport. Like, as in, that's the sanctity of sport is already...
Sport is... There's no sanctity in sport.
No, because
there's
been
little of it.
steroid abuse and doping scandals throughout sport historically.
Mate,
like, everywhere.
The men with the top fastest times, except for Usain Bolt in athletics, have been caught doping. Try to, if you run that out, Jesus Christ, the sport's pretty much done.
Yeah.
However, that's the reality.
What about when Lance Armstrong and they stripped him of his Tour de
Justin
France?
Gatlin, doper. Johan Blake, doper. Maurice Green, I think, at a point, doper. Like, they've all been fucking
Allegedly.
found out.
I saw somebody this morning trying to draw comparisons with the Pissarro being outspoken about drug cheats in the Olympics, which I found really stupid because the whole point of this game is to drug cheat.
No, but
so
you
trying
can-
to draw
in the
that
Olympics-
comparison
you
is
can
stupid.
still be critical of drug cheats in the Olympics. Newsflash, he's not at the Olympics.
Exactly.
He's retired.
But sometimes you hear an argument like that. Where'd you see that, Willie? Just out of interest.
I was watching, it was a little clip that popped up. I think Tubby Taylor was in it, and this lady was like, he was very outspoken about drugs at the Olympics. Like, well,
Right,
Olympics
that
is
was on
the
that
purest
Channel 9
form of that
sports
sport.
show. And you're like, you have to be able to see that that's not the same thing. You can be, it'd be like, I'm anti-speeding on the roads, but I like Formula One. It's like, well, but you don't like speeding on the roads. It's like, yeah, cunt, not the same thing.
Yeah. But you like speeding and
But
fucking
you
on
like
the track.
You look speeding on the fucking track. What are we talking about? It's such like a clear, it's so clearly wrong, that line of thought. Sometimes you see those shows.
It's an easy sell, though.
Yeah, but
on
you see those shows and you're like, does anyone just want to point out the blatant flaw in that argument? Or are we just going to pat each other on the back and...
On shows like that, they don't do that. They just keep running the line.
Let's just get everyone in to shit on the missile and then we'll just keep going.
Sanctity of sport's under threat, mate.
Oh, mate, it's going to be a really bad. It's going to be a really bad look for the kids, all the kiddies who are fucking. What about WWE? What do you reckon's worse? What's The Rock? What's Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Like, you want to talk about what's more influential on children?
Well, no, I think what they're saying is you can dope, but just don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay to dope, just don't
talk about it.
Make sure it's in the darkness, in the shadows.
Even though it's blatantly obvious because you're fucking 60 years old, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and you got veins in your eyeballs popping out.
Yeah. Well, you're bigger than you've ever been.
You're bigger than you've ever been. European gates off hinges.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't talk about it.
No, wait.
How do you reckon all those Marvel characters get so jacked? Do you reckon they're just genetically gifted at
Mate,
40?
I'll tell you what I can't understand, Tom, is how these couple of swimmers have come out and they've admitted to doping, right? In a sport where you're supposed to dope. I can't get my head around
Yeah,
it,
what's going on there? That's a disgrace. Why would you do that,
You're
James
cheating.
Magnuson?
You're cheating.
No. Incorrect.
Oi, Magnuson, mate, you're a cheat.
No.
No, it'd be cheating not to dope.
Exactly. It'd also be silly. It just lacks, I feel like it lacks critical thinking. And it's like on the most basic level.
I think this is where people get uppity and they get confused, is that from a young age, you, at least in this country, you are drilled into you that taking steroids and shit is bad. Bad. You're a cheat. It's bad. And then when these people talk about it, they can't separate the two.
No.
They're like, no. I've been taught drugs bad.
What accent is that?
Don't know. Who cares? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drugs bad.
Yes.
Don't do.
Don't do drug bad.
Yeah.
Don't
Caveman
know.
accent.
Caveman accent. Yeah, okay.
And so then when Magnuson's doing it, even though he's been paid to do it, and that's the whole point, they just cannot get their fucking head around. They're like, what are you talking about? That's crazy.
And then you know what? You could say, the health, it's bad for your health. Okay.
So I can't comment on that.
I can't comment on that.
I don't know.
But I would also imagine that there would be some sort of, and listen, I can't comment on it, and I wonder how much of an awareness the people who are commenting on it, saying it's dangerous, know, like whether they are any more informed than you and I. But I would imagine that the enhanced games have some sort of liability where, like, the safe administering of performance-enhancing drugs.
That's the way it's been sold. I genuinely don't know if that can be done safely or not. I assume that maybe it can be when done correctly.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
You mean like not in the back of a car park administered by a bodybuilder?
But I also don't know. So
don't know either.
Don't missude me.
No, exactly. But again, that's a reasonable argument. At least one where you go, you can sow seeds of doubt about about the health implications of mainlining fuckloads of steroids and getting jacked in a very short amount of time. And I can go, yeah, you know what? But cheating? Think of the kiddies.
I'm not gonna wear the cheating thing of the kiddies thing.
And then they're like, well, fuck, you didn't even break the world record, so fucking sucked in. It's like, what's wrong with you people? Who gives a fuck?
Someone did, though.
Exactly. Someone did.
Someone did, though.
So someone did. He was a 50-metre specialist.
Someone did.
And he was doped.
Someone did.
Someone broke it.
Someone did it. And full credit to me, because I actually said during our early conversations about it, this seems particularly suited to people that have just retired. I mean, like, okay, I've done the Olympics. Maybe I retire now. I'm going to do this immediately afterwards. So you're still in peak form. Then you get the drugs into you.
Yeah.
Then you can fly high. Whereas Magnuson probably left it too late. He was retired for ages.
Yeah. Well, listen, he's also humongous. It'll be interesting to talk to him and be like, dude, are you too jacked?
He looks too jacked. He looks like he'd sink to the bottom.
Yeah.
Like
Simpson style.
Mate, he got a lot of the Simpsons about him. From a buoyancy perspective, obviously the
jack
Simpsons
perspective.
don't look like that.
No. Chilton in his day.
Chilton's strong, but he don't look like that.
Not in his day?
No, scrawny. Scrawny in his day.
Correct.
No,
That was your opportunity to glaze Chilton Simpson.
No, but
there.
that's by his own admission. I'm not going to come into my own podcast and tell lies. Won't do it.
No, you wouldn't do it.
But he certainly had a bit of the Simpson buoyancy about him, which I'm keen to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're unbuoyant because of that look, that physique. Why am I so unbuoyant when I look like this?
Bit of X-Men about you. Like Magneto.
That's
maybe.
my superpower.
Well, it's not necessarily a superpower. Because I think as well, it's funny, like the X-Men, it's always like, they've got this crazy mutant powers. It's like, what about the guy who's just made of metal and sinks?
Well, I think there are. Is there an X-Men mutants that are just not good at stuff?
You know what I mean? Like they're mutants,
Yeah.
but they don't make the X-Men. Yeah. That'd suck, dude. Yeah, I'm a mutant. Oh, you're an X-Men? No, I just am heavy. Like I don't have any buoyancy. There
should be a spin-off to the X-Men, but it's called like the Z-Men or something, and it's about people with mutant powers, but they cock things up.
Yeah.
Because
they're just bumbling oafs.
Yeah, like I'm a lifeguard and I'm tasked with saving people.
Well, that would be a bad use of your powers.
But it provides an opportunity for comedic relief.
That's true. He sinks again.
You
may have seen on our Instagram a couple of days ago from the Alternative Commentary Collective. The Alternate Commentary Collective?
Yeah.
From New Zealand, ACC. Firstly, I want to shout out them. When we were they've been doing the damn thing for a long time over in New Zealand. And they were one of my personal earliest inspirations for the dumb shit we do. Seeing that, like, something alternate can be done. And that they've been doing it in New Zealand. Now, last year, after the performance of Mitch Barnett in Origin, maybe it was the whole series, I don't know, but we basically said we were going to give him deliver a metric fuckload of nappies to Mitch Barnett. They reached out across the
ditch.
What's the sea there?
The ditch.
What's the sea between Australia and
Pacific?
They reached out hands across.
Is there a sea? Tasman Sea?
Is that down below?
Is there a sea between Australia and New Zealand?
Well, what is the body of water?
It's the Pacific Ocean.
The ditch.
That's
the name of the ocean. Is the ditch.
The ocean off the east coast of Australia is the
The
Pacific.
ditch. No, it's the ditch. The ditch ocean. They reached out across the ditch ocean and were like, we can help facilitate this.
The Tasman, by the way.
Tasman.
So I was right.
There you go, buddy. C.
God, I'm good.
And they were basically going to help us do it.
How can it be a sea and an ocean? Let's get fair.
It is the ocean.
The global ocean. Some
It's an-
people think that there's only one ocean.
Well, technically there is.
I think the Tasman is part of the Pacific, which is the greater.
That face is so cooked. I need to get to this. Basically, so we tried to link up with them. They were like, if you pay for the nappies, we can, or they can pay for the nappies, blah, 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 and we'll pay them back and then deliver them. Someone has called into their show and accused you and I of something.
G'day, gents. Greetings from Perth. Just wanted to note that the Hello Sports boys seem to be trying to pin Mitch Barnett Nappygate and the non-delivery of the nappies on the ACC.
I will say they didn't directly pin it on us, but they did say that people had been coming at them for not delivering on their promise of providing a fuckload of nappies to Mitch Barnett.
Okay.
But I believe we've got the audio of our negotiation from last year.
Yeah.
Why don't we take our ute? It's a 1996 Ford Falcon ute, sacked out. We have to take it to a dodgy workshop to get the rego over here. But why don't we take that out to Costco, get meters times tackles times a fuckload worth of nappies, and then drive them out to South Auckland and hand deliver them to Mana Mitch from across the ditch when he gets back.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. Now, if you can give us the details of this Costco, we'll get on the front foot and make the purchase for you and then just have it all set up so you guys can come and pick it up.
Yeah, they didn't, did they?
Well, look, it didn't happen. I went through my emails. I was trying to check what the last correspondence we had after that, because there was a little bit of conjecture as to how are we going to pay it. Because obviously I'm not allowed to have a credit card at our company anymore after the eDream saga.
Yeah. What happened?
$14,000 worth of travel charges, which I contest to this day. Then it was going to be, can I borrow your credit card to go out and buy them?
Yeah, I had trust issues.
You had trust issues. There was an issue around whether the Warriors would let us on to the premises to deliver the nappies to Mitch.
Yeah.
And I think that was going to be a no. And then there was also, how do we contact Mitch Barnett directly to safely deliver these nappies? Which I think at last message was left, I believe, in their court. But what I think had happened was by that stage it had become so convoluted. About 3 or 4 days had passed and they gave us the soft goodbye. I think is what happened. I think after 2 emails went back and forth, they were just like, fuck this. I can't be bothered.
Yeah. Now, they ran like a poll.
Nappygate.
They ran a poll on there saying whose fault is it, theirs or ours. I posited to them in the comments there may have been a third party at fault. Now, it certainly was getting more difficult by the day. But the main issue was not them, because they seemed like they were going to make it easy for us. They get nappies, we pay for nappies, they put nappies on truck. It was about the next step is getting nappies to Mitch. And we reached out to the club, and there were some things that we can't fully explain, as in not at liberty to explain.
I think
that made it. There was an impasse. There was an issue there that was not really immediately resolvable, nor was it incumbent upon it. Wasn't our responsibility to resolve.
There was an unclimbable ridge.
Yeah.
That had presented itself that was directly in the path between us, the nappies,
and Mana Mitch
from across the ditch. Now, we can't elaborate too heavily onto what that sort of what the name of the ridge was or the style of the ridge.
Or the nature of the ridge.
Or the nature of the ridge. Because ridges come in all shapes and sizes. Know this. There was absolutely no hesitation. There was complete unadulterated willingness from us and our money to give that to Costco for then the boys to put them on the truck.
Yes.
That was all stitched up.
That was all good. That was good.
We're taking them at their word that they were going to load up the 1997 ute.
They seem like good styles of blokes. I'd take them at their word.
And we were moments away from getting Costco on the blower going, here's a credit card, put them into the loading bay, boys will be there soon. It was then about where do the nappies go now?
Where do the nappies go? And if they can't go to the why, we can't get into it. And then if they can't go, then how do we get onto Mana Mitch from across the ditch and get him directly? Like, what's the...
The Wars can't give him to Mitch, not going to get into a wire. We
don't know.
We were. It was alluded to us that Mitch may be difficult to get onto to give the nappies to. And even if correspondence from our side was made, that necessarily couldn't guarantee.
It wouldn't guarantee delivery, and what it would guarantee is that you're potentially left with a fuckload of nappies.
Yep.
So,
and we didn't want to lump the nappies with those.
We didn't want to fuck these guys around. Now we did ghost you, and for that. Listen, I'm not going to apologise, but because we were. I think we had every intention to fire it back up again. So it wasn't a ghosting.
No,
it may have felt like one.
Yeah, too busy.
Well, listen, it's sort of just we forgot a little bit.
No, I think 100% we forgot.
But I would like to still do it. Let's see how he goes.
We want to do, yeah.
It's just
Mana
hard.
Mitch from across the ditch.
I don't know how the fuck we get in the nappies. That's the problem.
And does he want them?
Not the problem. Not our problem. We just give them.
Well, we were going to give them to the Warriors. He told us in no uncertain terms, no.
Well, not no, but it was that there was a...
There's a reason for the no, but it's a no.
Well, it was a this will be difficult, and here's why. And then we're like, well, that's not really something that we have the ability to rectify.
Resolve. In fact, I would say we had no sway in.
Just go to the video and just look at the comment. Just look at the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, well, there's a third option.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. That's it right there.
That comment made me laugh so hard.
That's it right there.
Oh, fuck.
There is a comment that makes sense.
Anyway, just need to clear that up. Shout out to the boys at the ACC NZ.
Great styles of blokes.
No, they are. And again, truly sounds corny,
Sadly,
but
deeply
inspiration early on of like, oh, fuck, look at this. This would be mad.
That is corny, but it's accurate.
It's corny, but it's true.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sweaty Ange.
Shout out to us.
Shout out to us because we got on it. But Sweaty Ange gets it done.
Sweaty Ange gets it done. They win the Europa League. They were coming 17th. Literally below them is relegation. They had the fucking Hail Mary of all Hail Marys. If you win the Europa League, you get entry into the Champions League. People go, oh, it's a fucking nothing comp. Who cares? If you win it, you're in the Champions League, and all the riches go along with it. It's like finishing top 4, read a book. Okay? He gets silverware. All those...
First time in 17 years, mate.
They've won a major trophy. First time in 17 years. He said during the season, let me correct myself, I don't usually win a trophy in my second season. I always win a trophy in my second season. Badass shit. Badass shit. He parked the fucking bus. They had 3 shots on goal. They scored one of them. Good night, nurse. Now what's been great to see, Tom, now what's been fabulous to see is the unravelling of Man United, who now come 16th, don't win a trophy. They fucking... This is sad, but it's like... It's the reality of missing the Champions League. They've had to let 200 people go. 200 people made redundant the day after they don't secure the Europa League. Things are fucking dire.
Why isn't a big Saudi billionaire going to buy him?
Well, they tried to. So Jim Ratcliffe, who does like pharmaceutical things, I think he does like sciencey shit. He's a billionaire. He bought 25% of the club. 75% still owned by the Glazers, this United American family. They're running out of cash. So Jim came out of that recently and said, we're running out of cash.
Is that because of how they've been going for so long?
I don't know, bro. Apparently the club is just, from top to bottom, a complete and utter fucking shit
That
show.
is so sad.
I didn't realise so much weighed on like the success of a trophy in terms of like the livelihood of...
Mate, Champions League money, if you're spending like a club that wants to play Champions League, if you're spending like a club that's going to be in the Champions League and you don't make the Champions League, it's fucking disastrous.
Yeah.
Happened to Leeds back in the day. They spent like they were going to make Champions League or that they needed to make Champions League. They didn't. They fell into administration and they tumbled all the way down the leagues. It's bad.
Where's Leeds at now?
They
in the Championship, I'll check.
I think they came back up briefly, but then went back down.
And you tell me Wrexham's in the Championship now?
Yep.
Fuck, that's ridiculous. Now, Sweaty Ange gets it done, but there's nothing like someone doing well to spur on the sharing of your own personal success like Tim Cahill does. So Ange gets it done. with the Spurs, and Tim Cahill shares a goal of his at the World Cup when Ange was coach.
It's poetry. It's you can't get better than that. The relevance is
well. Listen, I played under Ange.
Tangible.
I scored a goal in a game where Ange was coach, and he did a split screen of him scoring at the top, and then Ange down the bottom just celebrating.
Which was a beautiful touch. So instead of just posting the video, which is what you'd usually see from Timmy Cahill, probably once, twice, maybe 3 times a day, is that on this special occasion, he's did the split screen with Ange putting his arms up after he scored. Because Ange was the coach at the time.
I just... the idea... I mean, and listen, I don't know whether... It feels like, you know, Tim's just looking for an opportunity to share a goal. Pope Francis dies. Bang! R.I.P. Pope.
Sorry, was it on his IG? I can't see it.
It might have been in his story, so it may be gone.
Yeah, right.
No, yeah, he shared it as a story.
You know what I mean? Like, Albo wins the election. Congrats, fucking Albo. Back in office.
Mate, I think it's perfect.
Well, I feel like that's just, he'll share him for fucking anything.
He does it for everything. That's what he does. That's his thing. He shares that video once a week, at least.
Congrats to the Bulldogs for signing Lachlan Galvin. Bang.
Oh, Donald Trump wins the election. Boos.
Interest rates down 0.25%.
Boos. Fuck yeah, Timmy Cahill. Big fan of your work, son.
Huge fan.
Leeds back up, by the way.
Leeds back up.
They won the
Bang. Leeds come back up? They're
Leeds
coming back up.
Yeah.
Is there just one team coming up?
Nah, three usually come up.
Did they come first or second?
They finish first. I know Sunderland are also coming up.
So 1 and 2 come up automatically, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 do the playoffs.
I think Sunderland won the playoffs, so I'll just see who finished second.
Oh, the playoffs are over.
Burnley
got second.
Yeah, let me confirm that.
So Leeds won the championship.
Yeah.
There you go.
I wonder whether that would almost be more exciting than winning the Premier League in the sense that you're getting back up to the big dance.
I think the championship is considered the hardest league in Europe to win. Super competitive.
What would a championship team, like, what would Wrexham be valued at? They're obviously a different commodity because they're also, like, well known. They're owned by heaps. They're owned by the two dudes. But you know what I mean? Like what would you be valued at if you get up into the championship?
I don't know. I think if you go up to the Premier
Would Leeds be...
Look how much money you get if you go from the championship to the Premier League. Is it £50 million?
I'll have a look.
What would Leeds be
Wrexham
worth?
valued at 100 to 150 million pounds.
Wrexham are?
Yep.
What's Leeds valued at? Are they billion?
Let me look.
Volk got keys to the city as well. Congratulations to Volk.
Well done, Volk. About time.
Leeds valued at 650 million pounds.
Okay.
Type in cash injection from qualifying for Premier League.
As of the 24-25 season, winning the championship playoff final secures a club a minimum of £220 million in additional revenue.
220 million. That is a lot of money.
For instance, Sunderland's recent 2-1 victory over Sheffield in the 25 championship playoff final not only marked their return to Premier League football, but also guaranteed them this substantial financial windfall.
So you get £200 million from making it. Is that fucking... That seems like a lot. Righto, we're out. Bye.
Ciao.
Could you two just not talk anymore?